Are you guys ready? You guys?
Another back-to-back damage over and over and over. Sleeping getting really low. Having to tap to give himself back up, and there he goes down. Another taking so much damage again. Silencing on another. And he goes down. OMG from South Korea. Live through this. Have you got Christian on his one? Can they convert it on to Sleeping? Off, and here we go. Now he's going to be silenced. Necrotic Strike is stacking up right now as he's trying to fake getting those is death foil. Wanthem still, look at that. So low on life right now. The dance is coming out at CKY to stop as much damage as he can, and Wanthem goes down.
Yeah, even with the spear out, where's the poly? Where's the blanket silence?
Green.
Oh, solo! 2,000 how can they do it? Snuts staying in the game!
Hello, everybody. Welcome to day 2 of the Cataclysm Classic Tournament. Today, we're going to witness North America's best Classic players battle it out in the hopes of making it to top 4 to continue on to Championship Sunday in the hopes of being crowned champion, as well as their share of the $50,000 prize pool. Hello, everybody. My name is Aya. I'm here with Venruki, Zico, and POGGITIES. Yesterday, Zico, we saw the European teams battle it out into the top 4. How did those games go compared to your expectations?
I mean, yesterday was definitely a little bit surprising. I mean, we can take a look at the European bracket right here. One team that I think most of us expected to do really well was DXB, and they actually ended up getting knocked out by Jmekliv, who I would say had a really good performance in that lower bracket. Another team that we kind of expected to do really well would be, of course, the Workshop with Chaz, Mir, and Albrecht's RMP. And they're going head-to-head with no tears, just dreams. So I really think that upper bracket game that we have lined up for tomorrow is going to be super hype between those two teams. So the European region definitely delivered yesterday. Definitely some upsets, and I'm really curious to see what NA can do.
Yeah, I'm curious as well. We've got NA games today. We've got 8 teams in the region. They're going to narrow it down to the top 4 today. And we've got kind of some big dog POGGITIES coming in the mix here, bringing it old school back into Classic.
Is muted. Okay, we got the old men coming in on the top side here with Snuts, Cubsy, and Shan. They're going to be running some Roguelock Shaman likely as their main composition. This is an absolutely stacked lineup, although there are a lot of stacked lineups, I think, in North America. Their opponents are going to be Void GG, which was the 4th member of Cloud9 at that time, an era of World of Warcraft esports, Wealthy Man, playing with Joxy and Nick. And it could be a very exciting mirror possibly between them in that upper bracket.
Yeah, there's just so many matches that could line up possibly in this bracket that are going to be absolutely explosive. Just like the games that we did see yesterday, then any standout comps you think that we're going to be seeing prevalent yesterday that might be prevalent today as well?
Well, actually, kind of the opposite. Like yesterday, we didn't see the Retribution Paladin Death Knight, which is something Liquid will be running. The ever so popular Vanguard's Cleave, as it is named. Mez was part of that original trio, but he's going to be tagging up with Sea-Doo and Trill. And that composition has been working out great for them. So I'm really excited to see how they can pull it off with one of those really strong compositions. They are going to be going up against Vindictive, Ugly Bald Baby, Pink, and Mud. They've been running it down as well with that Feral Warrior. So yeah, I'm really just excited to see if there's going to be some different compositions as to what we saw yesterday in Europe. You know, how these teams really are going to perform, because we saw yesterday these games can be explosive, they can be fast, and these teams definitely are going to be coming out of the gate swinging.
Absolutely. You know, we did have Cataclysm come out pretty recently as well, Zico. They are on the tournament realm, so they can basically make their characters perfect as they want. That's got to be nice, having the freedom, you know, to be in Cataclysm as well, you know, bringing it back to such a nostalgic expansion and just be able to kind of do whatever you want within the parameters of the TR.
Yeah, and it's really interesting to see kind of what people are doing, because everyone is not really kind of going for the same kind of line of play. We saw a lot of the rogues, for example, yesterday in EU, pack in a lot of the PvE gear. You know, they got excited, they got on the TR, they saw how high their damage was, but then we also saw them get deleted by the enemy teams. So that's always something that you got to keep in mind.
Yeah, for sure. And I'm sure they're going to be keeping that in mind as well. But let's talk a little bit, Supatees, about the first match that we've got. It's elimination as well as the move versus Dirty Dogs. Recap us just a little bit. What kind of comps can we expect from these two teams for the first game?
Yeah, so the move, they're bringing in Ceralium, WizK, and Absterge, so the 3 players from the move, their retail team. Peekaboo's off for this one. They're going to be running a Shadow Priest Mage Restoration Shaman composition. This is what they have been mostly practicing. It's high crowd control, high burst damage. So it's a really potent composition at the moment, but they are the only ones between both regions running it. And the Dirty Dogs, on the other hand, are going to be running a Discipline Priest, MM Hunter, Subtlety Rogue, or otherwise referred to as kind of like Thug Cleave with the Hunter and the Rogue. These are both potentially very high crowd control based compositions. I do feel like the Shadow Priest provides a lot of extra utility though with Mass Dispel, having no cooldown and being really fast. You can remove freezing traps from your healer, and you're going to be vital with Life Grip as well to avoid crowd control.
All right, well, gates are going to be opening in 20 seconds here. Game number 1, it's best of 5. Both of these teams are facing elimination. It's the move versus Dirty Dogs.
And it looks like Ceralium will be playing Fire in this matchup, so that instant Dragon's Breath going to be great crowd control. Dirty Dog's going to be looking to play this one really aggressive. The move, they need to kind of diffuse the opener. They need to get crowd control rolling on the Priest. The crowd control starts rolling on the Hunter and Rogue as well. So immediately Ceralium's just going to be moving in. He's trying to create some space here. The sap does land for a wet. We'll see who they decide to go after. Thug moving forward. Clemens as well. They're going after WizK. The Shadow Priest could be in trouble. They need crowd control on Absurge. Can they get it? Ceralium needs to defuse it. Dragon's Breath does come in, but is it enough? WizK might be forcing dispersion, and is.
Oh my god, it was a sick start here. He used a trap launcher snake trap to root the Shadow Priest so they could save the stun DR and get a full kidney shot. And they've already got both Trinkets Dispersion and Spirit Link. This could absolutely be the end of the game if they are not careful in the next setup. They need to turn this around. They're trying to get crowd control on Clemens, but he deaths the Polymorph, it looks like, at the moment. And now Ceralium cannot find anything. WizK's is ducking around the corner, trying to stack up the Hunter with the Rogue by line of sighting for a fear, but here comes the Garrote. A defensive Ring of Frost comes down from Ceralium in desperation, but the kidney shot is there. The Hunter is on him, and he may not be able to survive as Absurge goes into a full freezing trap, and I think that's lights up for WizK. He's in desperation to try and hold on by any means necessary, but Wet Shadow steps over the Ring of Frost. Master Spell connects, and somehow he's alive for another moment, but not another moment later, and the Dirty Dogs will be taking game 1.
Wow, that was just such a good start for Wet and Thug, getting the sap onto WizK, and basically all of them getting their perfect opener with him rooted up, like you mentioned, getting dispelled out. Like, that was just basically as good as it gets for the Dirty Dogs. I think for the move, they gotta get things going faster. Like, I think Ceralium kind of has to just run in, get the blast wave down, try to get in combat, because if that sap lands, that is just an absolute nightmare.
Oh, we didn't catch the opener in the replay. WizK was trying to use Mindseer on the mage, and then Ceralium blinked in, and they were trying to pull somebody out of stealth with that, and it's kind of just a coin flip, I feel like, in a lot of cases against these rogue teams, whether or not you can get that pull, get that AoE, and find the rogue and deny the sap or not. And if you get sap, it's going to be the worst start, as we could see with this, with them already being down all of their trinkets this early on in the game, and then not being able to get around the corner here with the Hunter, at least a little bit with the Ring of Frost. Nobody was really hit by it. But WizK actually gets a Master Spell here, which was pretty insane at 1%. I think in just a moment, he goes for a Master Spell. At 1% health, he's just spamming it. They're covering the trap with the Hunter's Mark as well. So that was really impressive from the Thug Cleave. Keeping up their pressure, keeping their momentum, really preventing WizK from doing anything here in game number 1. Now, do maps matter at all? Like, are we going to see like maybe a Dalaran? Try and stack them on the boxes for triple fear, stack them on the boxes for triple DBs. Do you think Ceralium should focus on peeling at the start or focus on controlling the healer at the start?
I think in an ideal world, Ceralium should just get in combat. Like, I think the most important thing he could do right now is just go in and just blast wave the Hunter out of his camouflage. Just try to keep him pinned at the other side of the map. Seems like that's really important. So, yeah, I think you just got to try to isolate. Like, I think as the mage in this particular composition, you need to just try to get crowd control on the priest immediately, like a Dragon's Breath ring, a Nova Counterspell ring, like something like that, just to stop Clemens from being able to basically back up his team. And that way, maybe the fears from WizK sit if he trinkets out early. But it's just a really momentum-based matchup, right? And I think in this particular game, Dirty Dogs, they just had the momentum, and that's why it looks so one-sided. But it can look one-sided the other way also if the move have a good start.
Okay, they're going to go to Dalaran. They want the boxes for line of sight. Stacking up for the triple fears, triple DBs. I really like that opener from the Thug Cleave, using the snake trap to root the target. The Rogue actually, I think, started with ambush. So you don't have to put them on stun DR, and you can just start with the maximum amount of damage, and the priest can't move. So I actually really like that trap launcher, snake trap opener from the Hunter specifically here. I'm not imagining that we're going to see any comp swaps, unless maybe Absterge. You think like a Paladin would be any better for this type of matchup if he could play a Paladin?
Maybe, like, in theory, it sounds good, but I feel like Dirty Dogs can just kill Paladins. You just kind of run in, get on the Paladin, Mass Dispel his bubble, and take him down immediately. So it doesn't seem like that's what they're going to do. The move, they will be locking in the Restoration Shaman once again and just playing out the exact same comp. I do think that this composition is capable of winning. Like, I think this is just one of those matchups that snowballs in either direction. If the move get crowd control on Clemens early on and Whiskey starts getting his fears rolling, that's when the game is going to start going really well for them. It's going to look really, really good. But if they don't have a good start, if they are just behind and Whiskey is just getting owned, then the matchup's going to look really, really bad. So I really feel like the first 30 seconds of the game might just dictate who ends up winning each round.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be a really fast game regardless, and they just have so much CC and so much burst on each side here. This map should be better for the move in terms of stacking them up. It felt like it was really tough to get the Hunter on top of the Rogue for like a double fear. The Hunter Thug just played really good position out of range of the Shadow Priest, never stacking and making it really hard for Whiskey to get control. I also don't think we saw the Psychic Horror. I feel like, you know, just a blanket Nova ring with a Psychic Horror on the target you're attacking even could be enough to kind of flip momentum for your side. It felt like they were kind of like deer in the headlights in the first game, just like, oh, we got sapped, and then like maybe we can recover and do something, but they just never got anything offensively going for their side. So let's hope they've got a cleaner strategy here for game number 2, because otherwise they're going to be moved on to match point and potentially out of the tournament.
Yeah, elimination series to start the day here between the Move and Dirty Dogs. Dirty Dogs taking that game number 1. Let's see if the Move can battle it back here on Dalaran Sewers. Gates are about to open. For me, what I really want to see, I think if Ceralium's at the target, he needs to get crowd control on the Priest. Like, just immediately needs to find that crowd control, and that's when the fears are going to start sitting for WizK. They can maybe get something rolling. Ceralium moves in, gets combat immediately. So this is already a much better start, but maybe they're just going to go after Ceralium. Smoke Bomb comes down already, an immediate. Is he going to Ice Block? He's so incredibly low on health. Just spamming out the Mana Shield. That's the Cauterize. That's the Ice Block. That's the Master Spell. Ceralium's in a Kitty Shot. That's a Spirit Link. He just dies through it. Okay. So maybe that's why you don't move in as Ceralium. Play a little bit more cautious. I mean, Dirty Dogs just completely own the move.
Yeah, they blew all their trinkets in the opener as well. If they can just live that opener, man, they'll be inside. Like, they got every trinket. They can win on the next Psychic Horror. But it's just so much damage. As soon as they saw Ceralium get in there and try and pull combat, they're just like, okay, we're just going to kill the mage instead. And they knew what to do in that situation as well, and didn't get caught off guard whatsoever here in game number 2. It's looking like a very scary team. I mean, this game was so fast, like, they didn't even pass the 20-second mark. They're Master Spelling, they get combat off of Ceralium, Wet can't sap. And he's like, okay, well, hey, your mage is really deep right now on that ramp. I'm just going to step over and kill him in a Garrote. Garrote's over, and then Thug disengages to the middle of the map, and he smoke bombs him out of line of sight around the corner. He can't do anything because he's Garrote. Like, maybe he's got a trinket the Garrote to be able to get out of there. I'm not even sure, like a trinket DB, or I think he already DB'd the Priest, though, in that position. And even with the fear on the Hunter, the Rogue is just destroying him. Clemens is more than ready to Master Spell immediately. Monkey Blind gets trinketed. Link, I think, only hits maybe 2 players. It doesn't look like it hit Absterge, even though he's right in it. It actually looks really weird on the replay. Like, I swear Absterge is like the only one that I thought was in the Link, and it didn't give his health to the mage. Oh my god, this is just out of control in this game here. So, like, he doesn't even get a DB. He doesn't even get a DB. I think Trinket double DB. Trinket Garrote double DB. But they both trinketed anyways, so it might not have mattered, but he's literally just dead in the Garrote.
Master Spell. I mean, that's inner focus too. I was going to say maybe Whiskey could have silenced a Master Spell. There's inner focus there, so yeah, that is definitely tough. Did he bomb the Spirit Link? I think he did. I think that's what happened. Did Ceralium's health even move in that? I think he actually smoke bombed the Spirit Link totem. That's why it didn't move his health at all. It's equalizing like WizK and Absterge's health. But yeah, that was a fast one. This is what we're talking about. These games can be extremely quick. And I think this comp in particular, the Thug Cleave, the Rogue Hunter Priest, it's an underrated composition. I think, particular against these Shaman Wizards, it's really strong. Like, you can basically go after anyone. You have a lot of crowd control. It's very aggressive. But it is a really tempo-based comp. If the move can somehow just stabilize a little bit more in the opener, I think they are capable of winning this matchup, but that was a really, really rough game.
So, okay, what about Invis Mage? You let them sap the priest and open the priest because you can just disperse. You're guaranteed to live with disperse, whereas the mage is like, you might not live if the mage gets opened on, but this way the mage is guaranteed to get CC without just exploding right away. And then maybe even WizK Trinket Fears, like you get a DB, something on the priest, right? Whether it's MCS, Nova Ring, whatever it is, DB Ring, and WizK just Trinket Fears. In the opener, you're going to get double Trinket. You probably still have to disperse though. It's literally still going to be a Trinket and a disperse probably because they're going to Trinket. But at least you live the opener and you're probably going to get double Trinket, and then you can maybe survive to the next MCS or the next Psychic Horror to be able to win the game.
I wonder if Frost would be better in this matchup. Like, I think a lot of mages right now are opting to play, Fire, but I do kind of wonder if Frost would be an option here for them. Then you at least have a little bit more defense with, the ice barriers. You have multiple ice blocks that you can use. You have the instant deep freeze on the priest, like something like that. I don't know. Dragon's Breath is really, really high value also, so it is hard to say. But I do think the move, they need to come up with a good strategy because both of these games are sub 30 seconds?
Yeah,
I think so.
I'm pretty sure sub 30 seconds here. So I just don't think you want the mage to be the target. I think Frost could be good. I think just being able to CC from range, like the mage having to use Blink to get CC on the healer is not going to be great. Because if you get swapped to, then you can't Blink out of the stun. Also, I think just the extra stun is really nice. You pair that up. Like Shadow Priest could Trinket Fear Rogue and then Psychic Core the Rogue Trinket or something like that. Just take away the opener from them is what they need to figure out. What line of CC is going to take the Rogue out of the game or take the Hunter out of the game?
I'm curious. So game number 1. All right, so this is the series so far. Game number 1, Cerulean plays it a little bit cautiously, and WizK ends up getting sapped as a result, and then they just all in WizK. Game number 2, Cerulean doesn't want WizK to get all in, so he plays really, really aggressive. He pushes in for the Dragon's Breath, he pushes in for the Snare, and they just punish him. Is this one is it like a Goldilocks thing where Cerulean just has to play like a mix between not too passive, not too aggressive, play it just right in that center position so he's not out of line of sight of Absurge at the beginning of the game, but still getting combat for his team? Because I feel like that's probably got to be the main adjustment here for them.
Yeah, I think it's you invis. I think you let the sap happen, and I think you MCS Nova Ring, and then maybe if you can get in range to DB the Rogue, it's got to be a fear and then a stun the Trinket. Like that, it's the same thing with Warlock. If you howl and then you coil the Trinket, you need something on the Trinket. So you can fear the Rogue, stun the Trinket, and then the Mage takes the healer out of the game. The Shadow Priest focuses on taking the Rogue out of the game, and then you just gotta hope Earthshield can heal through the Hunter in the meantime. But they have to stun a Trinket. The second, it's got to be a fear stun on Rogue. I think that's the only way he's gonna live the opener.
All right, let's see what they decide to do. What is Dirty Dogs going to do as well? Maybe they go after Absurge this game. Just really mix it up. Go after all 3 targets. So far, this has been a very explosive composition. Gates are now open. Let's see what the move decides to do. Cerulean moving in. Looking like he wants to get combat here. Just spamming out Flame Strikes. Spamming out Blast Waves. Trying to get wet out of stealth if he can, but evades it for the time being. Gets the sap here onto WizK. Thug moving forward. Looks like they might go after Cerulean. No, a silencing shot comes in into a full fear. Cerulean trinkets. They're going after WizK. Not a bad start, but this is what I wanted. Cerulean just trinkets. He gets the Dragon's Breath on Clemens into a full ring. This isn't too bad of a start here for the move.
Oh, they might still get more. Absurge triggered, WizK triggered. He's just dying. He has to disperse at 10%. Readiness is still available. Shadow Dance is still available. It could just be game over. Monkey Blind, still no trinket for some time. And WizK gets absolutely destroyed. Dirty Dogs with a 3-0 in less than 3 minutes.
All right, a little bit of a celebration there. Or Clem, he's got the Move sweatshirt on.
He's the Move sweatshirt. Is he a member of the Move, or is this BM?
I really don't know, but at least he bought the merch. So either way, a victory for the Move.
Search wins a little bit at least.
Yeah. Dirty Dogs is going to be pulling off a 3-0 there every single one of those games. It's just a complete blowout from start to finish. I mean, that was insane. Dirty Dogs playing this really, really impressively. So you can see here, Cerulean doing exactly what I wanted, which is getting that full ring, but Clemens just doesn't care. He just trinkets. They want to ride that momentum. They get the full blind on Absurge. Absurge snap trinkets that. But as soon as he trinkets, he's in a scatter, he's in a full trap. It's just overwhelming amounts of instant crowd control. Smoke bombs coming down, so he's not going to be able to Spirit Link. There comes the bad manner, and Whiskey just dies immediately. I mean, if you're Absterge, what do you even do here? Like, let's just look at a full blind. So let's look at the game from Absterge's point of view. He's just healing, blind. Trinkets instantly. Doesn't mess around. NS's into a full scatter. Out of the scatter, a full trap. Can't do anything. Just chilling here for the time being. The only thing maybe he could have done is just WizK disperses that high health and he holds on to his trinket for Link. But he gets bad mannered. He gets resapped. Like, he doesn't get to control his character at all here.
Well, unfortunate, because there's no fourth chances here in the tournament. The move are going to be out. Dirty Dogs will advance, and they're looking like a very lethal team, willing to go all in. And this is, I feel like this composition reminds me very much so of like the StarCraft strategies of like 6 pooling a Zerg, and you just try and win in the opener. If the team can somehow live your opener, they're going to win. But if you can't make it past the initial 6 pool, it's just over.
Yeah, that was insane.
Can we get a replay of the little dancey dance?
he's trying to outdo Sea-Doo's clip.
That was foul. Oh, man. All right, well,
was that the orc dance? Wait, was that actually the orc
dance? No, I think that's some TikTok nonsense. I'm not sure where that came from. No, the orc dance is like the little, it's like a little shuffle, right?
I thought that was like orc. You know, like there's 2 dances, right? I think the one.
Maybe I missed it. See, this is why we need a replay. Got to analyze the moves.
I'm sure someone's going to make a clip of that. There's no way they don't. So
yeah, it's probably already on Twitter. If it is, please tag us. We need to dissect that. But
we need to have a competition for who has the best pop off.
Yeah. Can you beat Sea-Doo's clip? Are classic players or retail players better at popping off? Find out next time. All right, anyways, let us know on that front, but either way, we're going to get a quick 3-0. Unfortunately, that means it is the end of the line here for the move. Dirty Dogs, we're going to be seeing them play the loser of match number 3, so we're going to see them a little bit later today, but absolutely a very, very clean series from them. Up next, we've got POGGITIES versus VAPO. Before we get to that, though, we are going to head to a break. In the meantime, I believe we're going to have another spell guessing segment, so if you guys missed these yesterday, we are guessing some Cataclysm spells, and y'all picked it up towards the end. I think we got the hang of it.
Yeah.
I don't want to drop my 100% win rate right now.
Zico and I started picking up a lot of points, I'm not going to lie.
Oh my god, what is that? Increases the spell power of all party and raid members by 6%. This is some warlock thing, I think. Is it? Or it's a totem. Is it a totem? I feel like it's 5.
Spell power. So mages give intellect,
I need
right?
to see the choices.
Yeah, we need to see the choices. Flame Tongue Totem. Oh, Fell Intelligence.
Yeah, the Warlock one is Fell Intelligence, so that's what I'm thinking.
I feel like it's Flame Tongue.
Flame Tongue... Yeah, but I feel like Flame Tongue's 5. Why do I think it's 5?
I don't know.
Everything is 5, you know? It's 5% crit, 5% haste, 5%... Like, normally it's 5. I feel like the Warlocks have the weird number ones. It's not an even
Fell
number.
Intelligence?
I mean, we could split this 50-50 and one of us is right, because for sure...
I mean, I'm going Flame Tongue Totem.
I'm going to go Fell Intelligence, and then watch it be a mage one, and then you...
If it's Arcane Intellect, I'm going to be very sad. I don't think it gives spell power, though, does it?
I think it's just Intellect.
I thought it was Intellect, too. Flame Tongue Totem. Okay. Let's go.
It's not 5%. It's 5 health, not 5% spell power.
There we go. Love that. I got that one right. Easy. Make these a little bit more difficult would be appreciated.
You're going to regret that. I think Zico said that at one point and then ended up regretting it later.
I know we got to get... Do we get to see the icon?
Oh, it's probably going to be the icon. In Cataclysm, I want to say it's B.
I think it's B too.
Because C is like, used to be Poison Cleansing or something, and then Flame Tongue Weapon, I think, is D, and then it's...
Okay, we got it. Let's go.
Yeah, I get 1 point at least. I come out of this not completely empty-handed.
Yay, we did it. Can't hear Aya.
Oh, did she disconnect? Maybe it's possible.
Oh, hello.
Oh, hi.
Oh, hey there. Hi, I was talking the whole time. I don't know what happened. I guess B. I did.
Okay.
Better believe,
believe you.
Thank you.
We have to
Thank you.
believe you.
Thank you. All right. Well, let us know in chat if you got that correct alongside us. So we are going to head to a break. Like I said, we're going to get to the second series of the day. It's elimination as well. So we're going to send one more team, unfortunately, out of the tournament. Is it going to be POGGITIES or VAPO? Find out next after this break. Hello, everybody, and welcome back. We are on the second series of the day here in the North American region for the Cataclysm Tournament. It's POGGITIES versus VAPO. VAPO, Ven, how are you feeling about these teams? Do we think, well, obviously one of them is going to go home, but which one do you think is more likely?
I don't really know. This is like a classic case of Rogue Mage Priest versus Ret Warrior. So I am curious to see how this one plays out. This is like something you would expect to see in Shadowlands or one of the later expansions. But POGGITIES is obviously going to be Payman, Naj, and Majidin. They've been doing extremely well as that Rogue Mage Priest. Majidin primarily playing the Fire specialization. So probably a little bit of a different flavor as to what we saw yesterday in Europe, who are opting to play a lot more of the Frost Mage RMP. And then for VAPO, it's going to be Rex, Vices, and Quarry Guns playing that Ret Warrior Resto Shaman. This isn't a comp you see too often, but I think it could be good. I mean, if Arms Warriors are enabled in a game, they do a tremendous amount of damage. And I think having a Rep Paladin on your team might be exactly what they need to get uptime on the Warrior and allow them to get that damage rolling.
Yeah, we didn't get to see that yesterday either. So excited to see how this one's going to play out. And like I said, also, they are facing elimination. And like always, we just have such high level of competition here in these arena tournaments. So that lower bracket already looking super scary. We're going to send one more team down there after this series. It's best of 5. Game 1 here, starting off in just a bit. As soon as these gates open, it is POGGITIES versus VAPO.
All right, let's see here. The Unstoppable Rock versus... Well, it's definitely not the immovable object. I would say it's like the Unstoppable Force is what you say, not the Unstoppable Rock. The Unstoppable Force versus the Unstoppable Force, I would say, is this matchup. There's no rocks here. It's just all damage. And Majidin is going to be playing the Fire Mage, like you mentioned, so it's going to be important for him to try to get a Pyroblast proc early. And then try to get a big combustion. I wonder if they're going to go after the Ret Paladin more or the Shaman. Because if you target the Ret, his Word of Glory, which is really, really high instant heal that Ret Paladins have in Cataclysm, it doesn't heal as much on himself as it does on his allies. Plus, when he heals allies, he also gets a damage buff. So if you're going after the Shaman, you need to make sure that the Ret Paladin can't get any heals off. And if you're going for the Ret, then you're going to have to deal with CCing the Shaman. So let's see what the RMP decides to do here in the opener. Game number 1, POGGITIES versus VAPO. Already getting a sap here onto Quarry Guns. Majidin getting silenced by the Warrior. There's the Blade Storm as well, trying to deny the opener as much as possible. Full Repentance onto Payman. Naj in a full Fear. So I would really say that they did a great job shutting down this initial RMP opener so far.
Ooh, Ring's going to miss here for Quarry Guns. He gets the sheep. Luckily, Majidin is able to find that sheep. It's on diminishing return. Payman moves forward, looking to get a potential fear. There's going to be Vices taking quite a bit of pressure here in the opening stages of the match. Majidin just cleaving everybody down right now, getting pressure. It looks like they are going to be going after Quarry Guns. If they can get a big combustion, it's going to be lights out for the Resto Shaman. That's a main win condition here. Impact stuns coming in. Triple Dragon's Breath. That's going to sit, and that Dragon's Breath is just such great control in a matchup like this. Payman going for a fear, and it looks like it's going to be an all-in Shaman train. Here it is on Quarry Guns. Combustion is rolling. Is it a big one, though? It doesn't look like it's doing that much damage, so I don't think it's going to be enough to take down Quarry Guns. Rex is there to help him. Blessing and Protection trades, and it looks like VAPO will stay alive for now.
Yeah, for now, but he was able to spread that combustion. Vice is stuck in a smoke bomb right now, taking a lot of damage. There's a full Dragon's Breath onto Quarry Guns. Do they have the follow-up, though? It doesn't look like it. There's a full blind actually coming out. They don't have Blessing of Protection for this. Vices is in a lot of trouble. No shield wall available. Can he get more crowd control? They get the full sap. There's the full kidney shot onto Vices, but it breaks somehow onto Quarry Guns, and the Spirit Link Totem is going to connect. There's the Tremor Totem onto the Fear. They're swapping to Quarry Guns now. Cheap Shots coming out. There's a Pyroblast connecting. Huge damage. Blanket Counterspell for good measures. They need to stop Rex, and they will. Quarry Guns is gonna bite the dirt, and it is going to be POGGITIES taking game number 1.
Yeah, I really like this strategy. If you're playing like the Rogue Fire Mage, if you just kind of all on top of the Shaman, not only does the Fire Mage get to kind of naturally cleave everybody down, but everyone is just susceptible to triple fears. Everyone's susceptible to just getting put into Dragon's Breaths, and by training the healer like this and just being stacked up, you just kind of passively winning the game. I feel like Quarry Guns is getting stuck in stuns, and naturally both Rex and Vices are going to be caught into Dragon's Breath, which is the best peel you really have as a Fire Mage. So Great pressure here for POGGITIES. You can see this is when the damage starts really kicking in. Full Dragon's Breath lands on all 3 members once again. Vices is rotting down. He's panicking. A blind on Corriguns. Out of the blind, they decide to go back onto Clemens once Vices survives. Polymorph's coming in. They get the Polymorph on the Ret. Kidney shot on Vices. They're going after him. This is where the Spirit Link Totem comes down. Majorden's just cleaving everyone. Living Bomb's coming up. He gets a Pyroblast proc. And Corriguns gets absolutely sent. So just really mixing up their target choices. And this is kind of the best thing you can do as Rogue Mage Priest against the Shaman anyways.
Yeah, absolutely agree. If you can manage to get the entire team to stack like that, getting those double and triple Dragon's Breath is going to be so powerful. And another thing that you might have noticed here is that Dragon's Breath is on its own separate diminishing return. So Corriguns gets Dragon's Breath into a full blind here. You can see the Smoke Bomb gets dropped, and as soon as he can heal, there's the Dragon's Breath, and he gets fully blinded. And I think a Living Bomb actually broke the sap out of that blind. Otherwise, I think Vices was actually just dead here, but Majorden with the heads-up swap there. And I feel like VAPO did a great job kind of shutting down the opener. Like, they made sure that, they didn't get a good opener, but I feel like they didn't have good pressure kind of offensively. I feel like they were stacking up on the Shaman, which is something you never want to do, and they weren't really kind of allowed to get rolling. And I think we mentioned it a little bit yesterday during the European games. It's just so important that your start to the game is good, that you get good pressure, that you get good momentum, and that you kind of get the ball rolling early. Because if not, then Majorden is going to double everyone's damage, and just solo win the game.
Yep, that's pretty much what happened. He's running a decent amount of PV gear as well. Not too much. He's got a good amount. Like, he's playing the Bell of Enraging Resonance. He's playing Volcano. So yeah, he's got some solid gear. His damage is going to be just fine. Like, there's one thing a Fire Mage is good at. It's cleaving everyone down and doing a bunch of damage. And I think the thing that's the most impressive about POGGITIES is just the way they're swapping around, mixing up their diminishing returns, making sure they're stunning different people, and just really keeping them guessing. So I do agree. I just think it's hard for VAPO. Like, who do you think their best target is? It's probably Payman. But if Payman just plays on Corriguns, then you're kind of just in that awful spot.
Yeah, I feel like maybe going on Payman, but making sure that you kind of get to him before he crosses the map. I feel like that's one thing in general in Kata that I've noticed, is that a lot of people aren't used to the positioning in Kata, and a lot of it is about stopping the enemy healer from getting on top of your healer. If an RMP kind of gets to start the game on top of you like that, it's going to be so much extra pressure. There's going to be fears that you have to deal with, and of course the triple DBs, the triple rings, just all the AoE damage. It's going to be not an ideal situation to be in. So maybe getting earlier pressure onto Payman, maybe early Blessing of Sacrifice onto the Warrior, charge in, try to get combat early, something along those lines, maybe a bit more aggressive, because they really need to get that momentum going. And Red Paladins definitely pack a pretty sizable punch if they can connect with their wings.
All right. Let's see what goes down in this one. POGGITIES looking good so far in game number 1. Let's see if they can get that same kind of cleave, go after Corriguns. How are they going to start? Naj moving forward in stealth. Is he going to be able to get a sap? He does on a Rex. Vices gets rooted, so already a perfect start, and this is exactly what you do not want. If you are VAPO, all 3 members on top of you. There's the triple fear. Corriguns is getting stunned up, getting pyroed. Do they have the combustion? Doesn't look like he's going to trade it out just yet. Majorden is just naturally cleaving everyone. Opponent Cold's coming in, and it's likely Corriguns will get stunned really, really shortly.
Yeah, but they got Payman's Trinket right there with the Hammer of Justice onto the Aura Master. It's a really nice swap there to Payman, but here comes the double Ring of Frost. There's the Ring of Frost onto Rex, actually walking into it. Now they're swapping to the Shaman. Here comes big damage. This is a combustion. Huge damage coming in onto Corriguns, and he's going to die without getting the Spirit Link. Naj come in and clutch with the Smoke Bomb. And if you are a little bit new to Cataclysm, well, the way Smoke Bomb works is that if you drop a Smoke Bomb and then you drop a Spirit Link in the Smoke Bomb, the Spirit Link does nothing. So you have time to kill it, and that's exactly what happened there. Corriguns not able to clutch out that heal, and he had to pay for it. And I really like that swap that they just did there. I mean, we're going to see it here. It's basically the start of the game. So they get a sap onto the Rat, they get a fear onto Corriguns, and they stun Corriguns and the Warrior. They get a Pyroblast proc. It doesn't crit, and you don't want to commit the Ignite if it doesn't crit, unless you absolutely have to. At this point, I think is where Payman pops his Aura Mastery, which is immunity to interrupts right there, and then he gets Hammer of Justice on it. He trinkets that because Rex is popping his wings. Double Dragon's Breath coming out. There's the ring, actually a triple Dragon's Breath. And then he spell steals the wings right here. Then he casts, I think, into the Shaman, who's already in a Ring of Frost, which gives him the Shatter, which gives him a really high chance to crit. Waits for the Ring of Frost to proc, gets a Pyroblast into it, which is going to crit. And then he gets his Combustion. And then here it's just unhealable damage. He gets an Impact onto Corey Guns right there. And then there's a Smoke Bomb. Spirit Link gets dropped, does nothing. There's no Word of Glory from Rex coming out. There's no heals. And it's just basically the perfect setup right there. Imagine really utilizing that Dragon's Breath Ring of Frost combo well, and the Shatter combos as well.
Yeah, triple Dragon's Breath Ring of Frost is just so deadly. I mean, look at this. They're all crowd controlled. Payment's completely fine. Corey Guns is now on a Ring of Frost, and this is where Majiden... I mean, it's just so unfortunate. We talked about it yesterday. Paladins are just getting abused by mages. Just the spell steals on wings. Like, oh, thank you for the wings for my combustion. Corey Guns is literally nothing he could do in that situation. Maybe he could have got the Nature Swiftness off, but I don't know if that would have even saved him. But POGGITIES definitely looking good. And I'm getting the feeling that, the Fire Mage Rogue Priest is pretty good against these cleave comps. Just with the way you're able to get the Fears and Dragon's Breaths and kind of just train down healers, it seems really, really strong.
Yeah, I feel like right now in the EU, there's a bit of a consensus that Fire is just in general better into melee cleaves, and Frost is kind of better into casters, is what a lot of people think over in EU, and it's just because of that Dragon's Breath. It's so powerful. You get 2 stacked up melees, you get a nice double Dragon's Breath on them, and also offensively, it just works so well as a stun as well, because you can do a stun on somebody, get a combustion on him, and then you can just Dragon's Breath, and if you don't do any direct attacks into it, the damage over time effects will still tick without breaking it. So it's effectively another stun lock that you can do as the mage. So definitely really scary. The one thing is, for the Fire Mage, if you're not getting those procs, you're not getting the Pyroblasts, you're not getting enough crits, that's when it can be a little bit rough. Luckily, rogues help with that. They have a 5% flat crit buff, which actually works on mage spells. And also, did you know Leader of the Pack also works on mage spells in Cataclysm? So there's no like a ranged hit or like a melee hit and spell hit. I think a spell crit and melee crit. I think it's just crit now, and everyone just benefits from all the buffs. Good,
lovely. As a Fire Mage, that's lovely. All right, but it is game number 3 here. Potential elimination match. VAPO can't figure it out. They can't get the pressure on Payman. I think they might just get sent out of this tournament. This is a nice small map that they have selected. Naj and Majiden going to be moving forward invisible. So Corey Guns get sapped. Payman trying to cross the map, and they're just letting him kind of cross for free right now. Double Dragon's Breath comes in, sap on the red, another perfect opener here. Payman's just going with the Power Infusion, Massive Spell, big Pyroblast. This could just be the game. Is he going to use the Combustion? Doesn't look like it just yet. Huge damage. Blessing of Protection comes in. Corey Guns flailing to survive, but he is just melting. He is absolutely melting. Spirit Link comes in, but he might just die through it.
What in the world? A triple kill for POGGITIES in the opener. Majiden coming in with the 20.5k DPS opener, getting the triple bust spread and getting the crit on the first Pyroblast. That is what we call jackpot in Mageland right there. Again, just a deadly, devastating opener that I cannot wait to watch again here in a second.
I mean, it's perfect, right? Like they're playing this extremely well. They really are. The double Dragon's Breath on Vices and Corey Guns, they get the sap on the ret. Ring of Frost drops down. Payman just coming from the sidelines, flying off the tomb, Power Infusion, spamming out the spells. He gets the Scorch, immediate Pyroblast. And this is where the game just goes from bad to even worse. A giant Combustion comes in. Majiden's able to get the spread on the entire team, and this is where everyone is melting. There's nothing Corey Guns is going to be able to do here. Smoke bombs are down. Spirit Link's not going to work. I mean, this is just an absolute nightmare.
Yeah, this is not the ideal position to be in. And they did actually, I think Corey Guns used his Nature Swiftness there as he got blanketed, and they might manage to dispel it there. I saw a global there pop up. I'm going to need to rewatch that, but yeah. Living Bomb exploding there at the end as well. Naj popping the combat readiness so he can't like get counter pressured by the ret damage. And yeah, it's just a really beautiful opener. Here's another thing that he does. So you look at Mage and here's pre-casting a Scorch Fire Blast there as the ring is proccing, and that's what gives him the Pyroblast. So if you're a good Mage, that's a little trick that you can do right there. Gets combustion, gets the spread. And then here, I want to see on the blanket if he actually... No, I don't think I think he got his Nature Swiftness off there. But it still just wasn't enough. Rallying Cry falls there at the end as well. And even if by some miracle Corey Guns survives that, Vices was on 1% at the end of that. So I don't think there's a world where they actually survive this. It's just, yeah, it's just unlucky. Go next.
All you can really do, just go next. But there is no next time, unfortunately, for VAPO. VAPO, they are going to be eliminated off the back of that game. But I don't know. I know you play Fire Mage. I play Fire Mage as well. It seems like if you just get the right crits and procs at the right time, you can literally just triple kill their whole team. Like, it's just it's one of the things about the spec. Like, you can be having the absolute worst game. This wasn't a case of that, but you can, as a Fire Mage, you can be having the absolute worst game ever. Feels like you're losing, and then you just get a pyro crit at the right time with combustion. You spread it with impact, and you can just reverse the pressure. I mean, look at the damage he was able to do in this very short game.
Yeah, this is also with Power Infusion and Tricks of the Trade, right? So you have a couple of things that are buffing the Fire Mage in this comp as well, right? Because you get the 5% crit from the Rogue passive, which is huge. Then you get the Power Infusion from the Priest, which gives you 20% haste, which allows you to hit extra breakpoints. So if you get Power Infusion, your combustion is going to tick faster and do an extra tick. It's gonna, your Living Bomb is also going to tick faster and do an extra tick, and your Pyroblast Dot is going to do the same as well. And you can see it right there, 20% spell casting speed increase by 20%, reducing the mana cost as well by 20%. So when the mage gets that, plus he has Tricks of the Trade, which also just increases his damage. And then in the start, maybe he has his, he's playing with the Bell and the Dark Moon card Volcano, which both can proc right there, those trinkets. He has the probably the Tailoring Cloak Enchant, Power Torrent, all of these different things that are off cooldown and will have a really high chance to proc an opener. So with all of these things, procking an opener, with all of those buffs as well from his teammates, he is going to do so much damage if he gets that first Scorch off and if you stack for the Dragon's Breath. So it's not a lot of room for error if you are the melee cleave in this matchup.
Yeah, most definitely, and especially considering that this was the lower bracket, so really no room for mistakes. We can see just how punishing it can be in times such as this. So no more games for them. Unfortunately, they will be knocked out of the tournament. VAPO, that is. POGGITIES, they're going to be moving forward here. They're still waiting on an opponent from these next couple of series. So is Dirty Dogs as well. We saw their series, the last ones. That was the first one of the day. So we're just narrowing it down. We're going to continue to eliminate some teams. But for now, we're in the upper bracket. Up next, a huge series is coming up here, Van. We've got Old Men versus Void GG. We've got the Cloud9 roster in here. We've got a lot of familiar faces.
Yeah, I mean, if you take Old Man plus Void GG, it's actually the entire old Cloud9 roster. Snuts, Cubsy, Chan, Wealthy Man, and of course, Wealthy Man's going to be tagging up with Joxy and Nick, who are incredible players. So I think this is going to be a really good game. This might actually come down to Roguelock Shaman mirror matches, which would be really fun to see. We haven't really seen that too much, but both of these teams are incredibly good. And although Old Men, I feel like they've got kind of the name advantage. Like if you just say, you know what I mean? Like you think about this matchup, most people are going to think Chan, Cubsy, and Snuts are going to win, but I swear Void is very good and can go toe to toe with this team.
Yeah, I'm excited to see it. We're going to head to a break before we do that, though. We're going to do more spell guessing, but definitely stick around for that upcoming series. Might be the biggest one of the day. Who spells it anyways? Let us know. Guess along with us if you're watching from home for these Cataclysm spells. Oh, they blocked out half of the number.
This looks like Blink.
Yeah, it's a Blink glyph.
What?
Blink glyph.
What? I mean, what else would it... Yeah.
I think it increases the distance you travel with Blink by... Is it?
It's 5 yards. I think it's a glyph,
I mean...
of a Blink. Is final answer. Lock it in.
I mean, yeah.
I mean...
Is that a 5, though? That could be 3, though, right?
If it was a 5, what would it be?
3?
Or if it was a 3, what would it be?
I don't know. I'm locking in Glypho Blink as well.
Yeah,
That was my
Okay.
initial
They keep giving us-
reaction as soon as I saw it.
If this is
So I'm
Glypho,
gonna go with that.
yes, I use this in duels versus rogues. That's good.
Yeah. Yeah. I use it in 2s. It's nice.
Also, we've got a
Yes.
surprise bonus round.
I feel like we're getting a little lucky with like just getting the mage ones.
yeah. I think they might be. Oh,
Wait, what is this? Proficiency shield. I would say B.
Yeah, that's
B.
B.
Lock it in.
It's 100%
Final
B.
answer.
Hunters can't use a shield, druids can't use a shield, and death knights can't use a shield, right?
Yep. No.
Why can't death knights use a shield? That's a question I
I
really want to
agree.
know.
A blood death knight at least.
Yeah, like they should be able to use a shield.
I mean, it's in their name, Death Knight. It's not Life Knight.
Yeah, true. Knights have. All
I
right.
don't care about defense. They just want to summon dead ghouls and
Oh, I
kill
thought you were arguing for it. That's true. They just throw ghouls. That's their shield. They're fine. All right.
Team,
Well,
we got it.
yeah, that was great. Nicely done. Hopefully chat did as well as you guys did. But we're going to go to a break. It's Old Men versus Void GG coming up next. We're in the upper bracket as well. Definitely stick around. This is going to be a pretty exciting match. See you soon. Hello, everybody. Oh, welcome back. Potentially the biggest series of the day coming up here. We've got Old Men versus Void GG. We talked a little bit about just like how stacked both of these rosters are, Zico, before we headed into the break. But I'm going to pick on you both. Do we want to make predictions for who comes out of this one?
To be honest, I don't think it's fair for me to make a prediction because I haven't seen Void GG play. I'm just going to be completely honest and say that. I have, however, seen Chanimal play. And I think that Old Men have a pretty good advantage because Chanimal is...
well, he's Chanimal.
Yeah. He's Chanimal, yeah. So it's a pretty good guy to have on your team. I feel like Void GG probably a little bit disadvantaged.
Okay.
But I don't know. Maybe they have some surprises. You know, you can't really count these guys out. They're all so good.
Any Warlock like that I've played with that's played against Chanimal, they know how coordinated their team is at stopping Unstable Affliction. You'll play like an entire game and never get one off. You'll just be permanently kicked the entire game. And a lot of this matchup is obviously swapping to the Shaman, but also just stopping Unstable Affliction. And I think as far as coordination goes, Chanimal's team is probably gonna have the edge on that. So I'm really looking to see if Void GG can match that level of communication and coordination.
So you think from a comp perspective, Supatees, that Old Men also have the advantage?
Well, they're going to play the same comp. I think it's just it's experience together as a team, knowing what the goals are. Like playing against Chanimal, and if you're the focus target of his interrupt, like you never want to be in that situation. It's the most brutal situation to be against. So it's a bit of a mind game. It's kind of similar to how Bounce Druids in the AWC were all about faking kicks. This is the same situation with the Warlocks here now in Cataclysm, because if you're not getting Unstable Affliction out, your Howls aren't going to sit. You're not going to be able to get your dots because the Shaman's just going to spam Dispel the Ag. He's going to spam Dispel everything else. And it's going to be really tough. So, and the other thing too is coordinating your Grounding Totem. So the Shaman can use Grounding Totem to soak like a spell lock. So Chanimal has really good coordination with Cubsy, I would say, from watching them play on their streams, is like calling out like ground, and then he gets a UA up. While the spell lock can't come through, or it gets grounded, then you don't have to deal with it. So these types of little plays that you can make as the lock shaman are going to be really important in this mirror.
Yeah. All right. Potentially getting a mirror here with these two teams. Very exciting. It's game number one. It is the blind. Two tremendously popular teams here going head to head right now. Loser of this one dropping down to that lower bracket. Definitely not a place you want to be this early on in the tournament. They're going to be up against Dirty Dogs, a strong team in and of themselves. So who will be moving forward in the upper bracket into Championship Sunday, and who will have to continue battling it out down there in that lower bracket? It's Old Men, game number one versus Void GG, and unfortunately no mirror. Okay.
This is about as far away as we can get from a mirror right now. We got a DK Rogue Shaman coming in, and this is probably something that Void GG were expecting to run into the RLS of the Old Men. So what is the Old Men going to do here? They're going to need to protect Cubs. They're going to need to protect Chanimal. This could be over in like 20 seconds, Sid.
Yeah, this is a notorious Shaman killing composition. Is Nick going to get in here for a sap? They sap the Earth Shield. They open on non-Earth Shields. They're going to go Warlock at the start of this. Wealthy Man gets intercepted by Snuts. They need to slow down the Death Knight as much as possible. Joxy's fishing for a Hex, but he gets put into a full blind. Now a Kidney Shot, double Howl of Terror. Good cross crowd control from the Old Men. They've really diffused the start of this match. Cubsy is safely sitting through a full blind without having to use a medallion. Chanimal is in a great position far away so that they can't swap to Cubsy. And Wealthy Man, he might just die right now. Spearlink might have to come down. He's almost going down right in that explosion of damage on the smoke bomb. But now they're starting to move back. We can see Chanimal has poured it away, and I really think they need to get onto the Shaman at some point with this matchup, because Chanimal is just running circles around them at the moment.
They haven't used Gargoyle. They haven't used any like damage cooldowns, but now they're going after Joxy on the side of the Old Man, doing a lot of pressure. Here comes a Garrote from Snuts as well. They get a Howl of Terror there onto Wealthy Man and Nick in the backline. Joxy's going to swap his Earth Shield, getting some pressure there onto him, but Snuts is going to abandon that and just go back here onto the DK. They get a grip there on the Unstable Affliction. Full Kidney Shot connects onto Chanimal. He's going to port out there. Actually see if a Smoke Bomb was committed there by Nick, but finally getting some resemblance of pressure. They could try to take down Chan in a Smoke Bomb. The Gargoyle is blasting right now. Can they connect onto him? It doesn't look
Sap.
like it.
Oh.
He's just going to go for a Sap in the backline there onto Cubsy, but not able to find it. Wealthy Man still so low here. Shadow Dance coming out from Nick, though. This could be their go.
Oh, but he's got Portal. He's got they're going to just drop the Spirit Link, but he got pet stunned. Oh, no, he got pet stunned 1 second before it. Now he's kicked, and it's game over. Insane kill on the Warlock. I was really thinking the old men had control of this. They survived the opening stage, which is typically, you're guaranteed to win the game at that point against a cleave like this, but they really kept up the momentum here towards the end and just absolutely cranked Chanimal here in game 1. I would say that this is unexpected. I feel like in a lot of our prep, we were expecting VoidGG to be playing RLS in this tournament, but Multiman in other competitions during the AWC has played Death Knight, and this type of rogue Death Knight cleave composition can be very difficult to deal with as a Lock Shaman.
Yeah, absolutely. So the biggest thing here is that they get the trinket of Chanimal. Actually, this is when they get it. So there was a smoke bomb here. I mean, it's hard to spot it, but it's there. The Death and Decay is kind of masking it a little bit. But so Chanimal trinkets out of the first smoke bomb, and then the prep smoke bomb comes in. They get the Strangulate onto Cubsy, into the sap there onto Cubsy as well. He trinkets into a cheap shot, into what else? You get a kidney shot there, and then the Shadow Dance, Garrote onto Chan, into a cheap shot smoke bomb. And he has no trinket here, so he can't really do too much. The only guy who can save Chan in this situation is Snuts, and then they both connect Anti-Magic Shell as well for the Howl of Terror. And Cubsy has to go for some heals here, because if he drops the Spirit Link, he's in the smoke bomb, it's not going to do anything, and Chan goes down. So really smart pick by Void. Little bit lucky, I would say, on how that kill worked out, but kind of a clutch play there from Nick to go for that sap out of the Strangulate, but still, I would say a little bit lucky that they got the kill when they did, because that Spirit Link was just a millisecond, from connecting there on Chan.
Just wonder if there's like a positional thing, like if they were on opposite sides, could Chan have ported? Because right now he's going to port away from Cubsy, and he doesn't want to do that, but he can't link anyways. So it's kind of like, I guess you're just dead if you do, you're dead if you don't kind of situation at that point. Because typically you want to be porting into your healer, but with how they forced them to move around the map, Cubsy got pushed onto the opposite side, and he didn't want to port away from the link. Maybe they thought they could live the duration of the smoke bomb towards the end of this, but I'm very surprised to see them actually able to power down the Warlock. I feel like typically this type of comp is going after the Resto Shaman, or at least swapping at some point, but they had so much pressure on the Warlock right at this moment in time, and Nick evasions to avoid any CC as well during this entire attack. And it's not just cheap shotting the Shaman, but Altair just instantly trinketed. An evasion is still up. Not real. I don't think there's really much he could do. He didn't have Shadow. Snuts didn't have Shadow Dance. They just caught him at a really awkward moment with that perfect timing on the second smoke bomb.
Yeah. Really, really nice setup there coming in from Void.gg. And of course, these are two teams that have a lot of different compositions here. So this is not, the end of the road in terms of comps. And in Classic Kata so far, we haven't really seen too many people kind of opting for mixing it up comp-wise, but I have seen Snuts on the Mage, have seen, they have some options.
Well, they're not going
but
to,
we
though.
are going to see the exact same match locked in. This time it's going to be on Blade's Edge though, so Chanimal wants to get that YZ axis, being able to put up his teleport up top on the bridge, jump down on the bridge, teleport back up, avoid a lot of damage that way, but Blade's Edge is also a really small map, so I feel like Void.gg have an opportunity and maybe to go after Cubsy on the Shaman and try to rush him down, so there are some ways Void.gg could navigate on this map still.
Yeah, I'm kind of thinking you're going to have to go Shaman on this map, but maybe not. I thought the same thing in the last game. I thought, like, after their opener, they got Lock Trinket, but I was really thinking, like, you're going to have to go on Shaman at some point. Like, Smoke Bomb Cleave is... I feel like this is it's supposed to be a Shaman killing composition, so it's really surprising that they were able to kill the Warlock, but this map is the worst map to be able to do it. So if they can manage to do it, I mean, they might even 3-0 Old Men, which would be really unexpected. I think for a lot of people, much like DXB in Europe, when I asked Chanimal after the European tournament was over, I was like,
don't curse them like that,
yeah,
bro.
I'm just saying, I asked him, like, were there any surprises from the European region? He said literally the whole bracket, like every single expectation he had for that bracket didn't happen. And now it's possible NA might be following the same parallel line as Europe here. Although it is just game one, maybe they weren't expecting this composition. It's one of those cases where, like, these types of, like, rogue all-in comps, you got to really know your plan ahead of time. It's like the first 2 minutes is all that matters. So if you don't know exactly what's going to be happening in any given situation, it's over at that point. So with every game, they're going to get more and more experience in the matchup. And now the gates have opened. They're charging up. And Nick is immediately sprinting in across the map to look for an early sap. But Snuts is waiting in the wings as well. And he might see him. Death and Decay, going to grab combat, but oh, Cubsy is already sapped, and they're starting the engagement with a Garrote onto Chan. They're going to chain the CC out of the sap. They can't at the moment. That Howl of Terror. Nice kidney shot from Snuts onto the healer as well, getting triple crowd control, slowing down their initial assault. That pathing for Nick is so unlucky. He might get hexed, but a step kick from Nick around the corner there from the bottom side of the ramp, now into a kidney shot. Nice turnaround from Nick. I think he's going to look for a gouge out of this as well. Oh no, a full blind. He gets his trinket. I think a grip swap on Cubsy now with no trinket is likely going to be the move, but Wealthy Man is just dying through every defensive at the moment.
Yeah, Wealthy Man summoning his Gargoyle right now. It's going to be doing a lot of damage. Finally catches a big heal there from Joxy in the backline. And I think that a grip swap onto Cubsy, it could definitely be on the menu. But Chan is just tanking out his damage right now. It's actually Wealthy Man losing this exchange. Nick, there's the grip onto Cubsy, but he falls down. Wealthy Man in a kidney shot now. There's a kidney shot onto Chanimal. Big damage connecting here. Joxy sitting through a full blind. He does have a trinket available for it, but at the same time, Wealthy Man is still taking a lot of damage. Chanimal porting away to Cubsy, and they're not able to connect here. The Gargoyle has subsided for Wealthy Man, and all that extra damage that they had available is gone. Cheap Shot coming out here onto Joxy. Nick gets a Howl of Terror, and now Wealthy Man feared in the opposite direction. Very low. Joxy and a spell lock. This is it, potentially for the RLS. Huge damage coming in here from the old man as they look to claim victory in game number 2 here. Joxy on 10% HP has the Spirit Link Totem.
Oh my God.
And might need to use it. He's going to drop down and go for some healing surges, but now he's left Wealthy Man by himself up top, and he's getting swapped
so
to.
far.
And he's getting absolutely destroyed, but the anti-magic shell could be enough. I don't think so, though. He's stuck in a kidney shot. The pet sacrifice comes in. The depth code's coming in. Wealthy Man trying to stay alive, but Joxy finally connects with the Spirit Link, with the Trinket Spirit Link, but still, this is not looking good. They're continuing the pressure onto Joxy, and they're going to take him down around the corner. It's an easy win here for the old man.
Oh, they just got so separated. Wealthy Man was going in. Joxy wanted to retreat away and recover, and then they met in the middle, which meant that they could go back onto Joxy. So nice punish there from the old men on that positioning. Really crazy swaps. Insane overall just healing. The fact that Chanimal could kind of just like stay on that upper pillar and kind of just post himself up and just pump out damage. I was really not expecting that. I thought for sure he'd be doing a lot more movement in this type of game. So really good heals coming up from Cubsy to be able to keep Chanimal as aggressive as he did. I love these setups from the old men, the kidney shot or cheap shot on the healer with a double howl just to remove the tremor totem from play to assist with the melee. And look at that tremor. Look at that howl. Just put Nick in the middle of the map, put Wealthy Man down on the bottom side. And this is where they just get split up. And as a melee cleave, if you're not moving together as a unit, you're not going to be able to win. So Joxy jumps off to try and recover. He Spirit Walkers, but maybe he could have ran, towards Wealthy Man, the pillar on the bottom towards him, because they just get so far apart. Like, I can't actually believe that he got back to him in time. He uses the pact, and that buys him a couple of more seconds. And then Joxy jumps down again. And so Wealthy Man tries to jump down to meet him, but he gets howled. He has to trinket it. He gets the trinket link, but Nick's not in it. And then Wealthy Man's still just trying to stay on the Warlock, but Snuts is like, I'm just going to solo the healer. He just pops him behind the pillar there, away from Nick, and it just seemed like a positional thing. So the map definitely worked out for the old men, but because they lost a blind pick, it's probably going to mean Ruins of Lordaeron more than likely here for a game 5 if it swings back and forth.
Yeah, that could definitely be on the menu. We'll see what they opt to do, but we can definitely see Ruins being picked multiple times here for VoidGG. If they decide to stick with this, or if they want to switch it up, we'll have to see also what the old men want to do, right? Because they could blind lock something else. I think it's kind of unlikely. I'm pretty sure they're just going to keep playing the RLS here, but still, there are options on both sides here. 1-1 apiece. It's going to be the old men who have to lock in their composition first, giving VoidGG the chance to counter. It's also going to be VoidGG's map selection. So we're probably going to some kind of cleavy map, I would guess. Ruins of Lordaeron probably. And there it is. The whole draft is done. Everything is locked in. The map is locked in. The teams are locked in. And yeah, it's let's see. Who do you think takes it?
I don't know. The old men were looking really good in this game, and you can split people up with this map, especially like a port in the room. And the fact that the double howls are looking really good, the timings with the stuns. I'd say overall, like it might have just been a first game thing for old men in that situation. And now they might just swing this back with the hammer and just get 2 in a row.
Yeah, I feel like The win on Blade's Edge, like, sure, it's their map and everything, and, you know, the Warlock is going to be able to do pretty much what he wants there, but still, that win was very convincing, even if you don't, like, consider that part of the game, right? Like, I feel like they always had cooldowns to trade, they always had good pressure, and just the synergy, like you mentioned as well. Snuts is always there with the redirect kidney onto the Shaman. Anytime Chan is going for those howls, making sure that it's covered, making sure that no Tremor Totems are slipping through the cracks. Cubsy has just perfect positioning the whole game, making it very hard for Wealthy Man to get the death grips on him. So if the matchup keeps playing the same way it did, that game one was kind of, I mean, it was really, really at the very, very last second of the smoke bomb that they got that kill. So I think that that wasn't convincing enough. I need to see Void GG switch it up here, maybe target Cubsy and just run at him from start to finish and really, like, do a full send game. And if they lose that, then I will be convinced that Old Man, there's no way they lose this. But for Void GG, I feel like there's still some options that we haven't seen, as long as they try them.
Yep, definitely. I think their main strat is they're trying to attack the target that doesn't have Earth Shield at the start of the game. At least that's what it looked like. And I think that is a pretty standard strat, but they just can't get the swap on Cubsy. Like, they got the grip that one time in the last game, but he just jumps off immediately. Nick wasn't in position or ready for it. And he was able to get away from it. But if he can't get away from a grip swap and he doesn't have Earth Shield, he doesn't have Trinket, like, he will easily just get 100 Odin in that type of situation. So very dangerous map here for the Old Men, as Void.gg are taking us to Runes of Lordaeron in game 3, 3 seconds away from the gates opening. How are they going to play this? Is Chan just going to push in so that he can get a howl? Is he going to push Port in the Room? I think it's Port in the Room strat here for Chan. Likely going to be spamming some AoE towards the entrance of the room here in a second to try and prevent the rogue from getting in. You don't see any AoE attempted just yet from Chan. He's going to relay his port again. Nick Snuts in the middle, waiting to intervene, possibly with the sap. Chan is moving out into the middle of the map, but they get the sap on Cubsy. A devastating start here. They're going to open up on Chan, but he does have Earth Shield, so he should be pretty durable. As Cubsy sits through the sap, disarm now into Snuts, trying to keep their momentum going onto Chan. He's looking to fake cast some interrupts and try and get an unstable affliction, but here comes the Gargoyle. He may want to port away from this. It is the Strangulate onto Cubsy. He's going to portal away from the Gargoyle, line of sight in that little cubby corner, away from the Gargoyle as it does get pulled in. Now Snuts is trying to stay on target, but he's so heavily snared at the moment, he can't really get in range to do anything. Another Garrote comes out. Nick still has Shadow Dance in his back pocket, and Cubsy has no Trinket. So a Shadow Dance swap could be lethal, but the NS Hex onto Cubsy's Trinket. Chanimal might just get clocked. It's still massive damage coming in from Wealthy Man. Nick gets over and sap off the Hex, and Void.gg are striking back, but somehow Chan gets there for the Spirit Link from Cubsy just in the nick of time, and Snuts peels the Rogue, denying the Smoke Bomb to prevent its recovery. Insane play from Chan. They actually survived the all-in on the Shadow Dance. Now they've got a couple of seconds to try and make something happen before the next Shadow Dance comes up.
That was the big all-in coming in from Void.gg. Chan with a masterclass there, getting the port off. Beautiful NS Hex attempt there coming out from Joxy, but wasn't enough. Here's the Gouge though onto Chanimal, kick Gouge onto Cubsy, kick onto Chanimal. Chanimal now is taking quite a lot of damage here. He has his portal available, but doesn't want to use it just yet. Cubsy keeping him up nice and topped, and he's getting a lot of Fel Flames onto these totems as well. That's one thing that Chan is doing very well. Anytime these healing streams are ticking, they are responsible for a lot of the Shaman's healing, especially if you're playing a Warlock. So he's doing a great job just trying to stomp those totems anytime he can't get his casts off, and just trying to maximize his pressure like that. So far, Chan able to get enough distance here from him and the melees, and it looks like they're kind of abandoning the strategy here of going after Chan. No, Nick is going to connect there with the Shadow Step, with the actually gets kidney shot by Chan, or by Snuts, into a double howl by Chan, into potentially more damage here. Snuts trying to set something up onto Joxy in the backline, but Nick has his Shadow Dance. This is their last hit onto Chan. He's got no Trinket. I'm not sure actually if he has a smoke bomb for this as well, but here we go. He dispels the UA on the side of Joxy, but at the same time Chan down to 50% HP. There's the Garrote as well. This is Shadow Dance doing tons of damage, but Chan has survived it, and now I am so scared here for Void.gg.
Yeah, they're almost out of mana, but Chanimal is still low. Nice kick by Nick. They're so close to it. Chanimal's gonna have to life tap pretty soon. A Gouge out of the interrupt. Howl of Terror comes through on the whole team, but Tremor Totem removes it, and Joxy's pushing in. He was looking for a Windshare on Cubsy, I think, here to try and stop a heal. They get the pet kick onto the Shaman. If they stop all of Cubsy's casted healings, I think it's going to be game over. They get a Strangulate on the next cast. He's got Trinket available. He's moving close, but he doesn't have Spirit Link. They're trying to get away from the portal so they can portal away, but a big swap. They're punishing Joxy for that offensive stance, and Snuts is going for the win. Joxy blocks it with the Spirit Link. Now a Gouge on the Cubsy, slowing down his aggression. Joxy's fishing for a Hex. He goes for the NS Hex instead. He's playing it safe. Can they kill Chanimal, though, is the question. It's so important that they keep their swing match advantage and take it to a game number 5 here. Are they going to be able to do it? A shear onto Chan, but Joxy is struggling. Wealthyman. He's been standing in the pressure cooker for so long. He has to get out of there, but Wealthyman is dying while he repositions, and he could fall over at any moment. Nick needs to make something happen with the Shadow Dance. They have to win the game on this Shadow Dance right here and now.
Yeah, it's not looking too good here for Void GG. They're making their final stand. Wealthyman with no anti-magic shell. He drops the anti-magic zone. Instead, Shadow Step kick coming out onto Cubsy. Chan down to 50% HP. Joxy looking for a drink here potentially, but Wealthyman is so low on HP. It's a greedy choice, but Joxy's getting a little bit of mana. Wealthyman and Nick caught up in the double Howl of Terror. Trump Totem coming out for Joxy. Still a lot of damage here onto Wealthyman as he is around 50% HP, but Gargoyle is up for Wealthyman. He's got the anti-magic shell. He's got everything he needs actually to continue the pressure. They're swapping to Cubsy. Big damage coming out, but Wealthyman 1% HP. Might need to trinket this Garrote Silence. He's trying to kite Snuts here, but Joxy with no mana left can't keep him alive, but Cubsy at the same time dying to the pets. Huge damage. They're just going to go for it. Cubsy, no Spirit Link Totem. He gets interrupted. The Gargoyle is doing work. The pets are doing work, but the Spirit Link Totem is doing even more work for the old men right now. Chan and Snuts, they need to get this melee cleave off of Cubsy and try to put them in the dirt. Chanimal stuck here in the smoke bomb, trying to stay alive. Gets a nice Howl of Terror. There's no Tremor Totem for this one, but he does get interrupted. Cubsy manages to top him off there with a big heal. Wealthyman still at 50% HP. Couple of seconds away here for the anti-magic shell. Nick gets feared to Narnia, but he's going to be making it back here to the team. And Chanimal porting into the room as soon as he connects. But Shadow Step from Nick is going to mean that he gets to stay on target. No portal available. If Wealthyman can make it there as well, they could get enough pressure here to try to make something happen. Smoke bomb coming out though from Snuts. They're going for the kill. Big damage onto Wealthyman. Eviscerates connecting. Huge damage, but Snuts gets caught up in the cheap shot. He trinkets out. He gets caught up in the DR cheap shot. Wealthyman on 1%.
How is he alive?
The UA. He's trying to keep him alive. The death strikes are coming out, but it's not gonna be enough. The old men take the swing match, and they are up 2-1 against Void GG. But man, Void GG made it close.
Oh my god, he died to the NS at the very end of the game. Wealthyman was at like 15% and pushing to win at one point. I was like, what? He's actually just gonna go for it, I guess, at this point. He's gotta make a move. Joxy with some really clutch NS hexes trying to put his team back into the game. Maybe it wasn't worth doing the Yard hex is the only thing I'm thinking. Like if that was a full hex later on, I feel like that would have been a lot scarier than a Yard hex. And then Cubsy's Spirit Link being available on like that final push, because like this is the first Spirit Link I think of the game, which is that 1 minute mark. They lived long enough to actually get the second Spirit Link. If that wasn't available, there's no way Chanimal would have survived. So this was a really hard fought fight for both sides. The Howl pathing too on Nick. I think he got unlucky on Dispels as well, because Joxy pushed in. I think he tried to Dispel twice and missed the Howl, and put him really far away. And any distance is going to be super important, because then he just ports away. Then Nick has to step in, and this is where Cubsy, I think he uses actually his Link a little bit earlier than this on the push before this. Cubsy repositions to the back of the room so he can hide his healing stream and max range the kicks. They drop a smoke bomb on Wealthyman. Animal is just going to town. He's loaded up full dots. He soul swaps over to Joxy just in case Wealthyman doesn't die here. But there's no way surviving. Joxy gets unlucky, hits a UA Dispel as well, as he was just trying to stay ahead of the damage. He's got no mana. He's just trying to let Earth Shield and Healing Stream heal while he dispels. But hitting that UA there was definitely unlucky on his part. But like this hex right here, like this hex almost won the game. It seems like NS hex is actually a really important component if they're going to be doing the Warlock strategy.
Yeah, the NSX is clutch, man. And really, this was the moment that decided the game. Before that link connected, Chan actually dropped to like sub 2%. It was so unbelievably low right there, right as that Spirit Link connected. So had they had a little bit more damage, the opener was really good from Void GG. Fortunately for them, they didn't get enough pressure. They didn't get enough lockdown on Chan, and he got that sneaky little portal and then was able to turn things around to a win. So Snuts did a really good job as well in this game. He got a sap onto Nick at some point when they had massive pressure onto Chan. So I think Snuts played a really clean game as well, of course, on the Rogue. And now Old Men, I think this for them is the most important game to win, right? Because if the series keeps ping-ponging back and forth, that's when game number 5 could slip away. But now they're going to have game number 5 advantage no matter what happens in this next game. So they should be feeling pretty good about that. But of course, they ideally want to close things out a little bit earlier than that and just try to take it right here and right now.
Yep, we're going to go back to Rune's Order on here. Map favored for the melee cleave. And then likely it's going to be a Blade's Edge game 5, and Void GG are going to have to make it work here. It seems like they're really dead set on just tunneling the Warlock. Not even giving real. I think maybe they targeted Cubs maybe a little bit in the last game, like maybe 15 seconds of the 3.5 minutes or so that the game was at a total allotted time. So maybe they can experiment more with that. maybe Cubsy can be a target more frequently for them, and they can close the game out faster. But their opener was so good, so I wouldn't be totally surprised if they just keep trying to run the same strat, get Joxy in for more NS hexes in these situations. Like if he gets a 7-second strang on a cast into an NS hex, like how do you live as Chan for that long of a period of time? It seems like you've got blind, NS hex, and then strangulate, and in any of those CCs they can kill the warlock.
Yeah, it's really going to be about building distance. It's really going to be about peeling the rogue as well during those moments. And it's really going to be mostly about that lock-rogue synergy, I feel like. Chan, he's going to need to survive those moments when Cubsy is in those extremely long CC chains. He's going to need to survive on his own, try to make sure that Nick can't get to him as easily as he wants to. And Snuts is just going to have to do a good job. If they're dogpiled on Chan, he's going to need to be there with the gouge, with the disarm, with the stuns, smoke bombs, maybe even go on the enemy healer and send a howl on them. You're just going to need to find different ways to make their offense kind of their defense in a way. But they're actually leaving the room here, and they're going to play out in the open.
Aggro.
Baba getting sapped. Chan's getting sapped. Are they going to go after Cubsy here in the opener? They're gripping Cubsy. Yeah, they're going for it. Beautiful Garrote, beautiful opener, but there's a blind onto Nick first global here coming out from Snuts, and there's a double trinket coming out. Double trinket from a Wealthy Man and Nick, but Nick gets disarmed immediately on his trinket. Here comes Gargoyle though. DR cheap shot. Still a lot of damage here for the Cub. He's going to go for the Nature Swiftness heal. There's the Riptide. He has Earth Shield as well, but he's tanking out this Gargoyle damage. He's just dead to everything. If they got the smoke bomb on that Spirit Link, it might just be over. Regardless, they grip him back, and that is it. That is what we expect from this comp. The first game these two teams played, I said, buckle in, Sid. I think this could be a 20-second game.
Yeah.
Now, I was a little bit off on the timing, but yeah, this is pretty much what we, Okay, yeah, so that looked good.
You know what's crazy, though? It's like, I think Channel's team knew they were going to do that, and that's why they ran into the middle of the map, because they just didn't want them to get to the Shaman. But they still got to the Shaman anyways. It didn't matter that they ran to the tomb. And that sap on Chan was just so bad for them. Like if they don't have his howl and they don't have his coil, it's tough. Even with Snuts blinding and disarming the trinket, it's just Wealthy Man. He's just stacking necrotic the whole time. Like this entire time, Snuts is peeling Nick, and Wealthy Man's like necrotic, 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 necrotic. Every single global is just necrotic, and he's probably got like more than half his health right now that we can't see with the UI. Like he Hellstones and NS's, and that doesn't even top him. And then if he got bombed here, like just a second faster, I think the bomb still negated Chanimal's health from being distributed. So that bomb still got value, and then they killed it, and then there's no way he's surviving. That looks so scary. I was wondering if they were like sandbagging. Like I feel like it's not normal for Rogue DK to never target the Shaman in a matchup like this when there is a Shaman. I just remember this being like one of the best Shaman killing compositions in the game. So now they're pulling out every strat. They're not going to be withholding anything coming into Game 5.
Yeah, and I mean, if this matchup keeps playing like, I mean, it's gonna be on Blade's Edge though. That's a tough part for Void.gg, but they definitely still have a shot in this one. They got it's so important getting a good opener, getting that momentum rolling, getting Wealthy Man, on his target. It's so important for these guys on the side of Void. And this game, they are able to do it. They're able to get good CC. And like you mentioned, despite Snuts' great peels here, it's just not enough. Cubsy needs to react here. He needs to overlap with Snuts. He needs to trinket. He needs the only way to survive this is to not fall behind. Once those necrotic strikes are up, it's just impossible for Cubsy to do anything. Necrotic strike, of course, absorbing your heals. So that's why his HP is not going up. He needs to kind of out heal that absorb, and then he can heal. So it's very potent. And also, if you didn't know, puts a casting speed debuff on the target. So you basically have Curse of Tongues on you, or like mind-numbing poison when you have that as well. So your heals are going to take longer to cast. You have two people who can spam interrupts on you. The pet can interrupt you. The Gargoyle is free casting, having the time of his life. It's just, it's rough. It's rough once you get to that situation.
I just also think it's a positional thing. Getting caught in the middle, and then Joxy just has a pillar the whole game, and he gets never CC'd. It's just not going to work. He has to be like in the room at the start if they're going to like pull Joxy into a spot and kind of stack them up for the Howl. But it's not going to matter. We're going to Blades Edge Arena. They're going to need to figure out a way to be able to beat them with the Z axis. Are they going to play aggressive and just run it immediately onto Cubsy? Are the old men going to recognize that as a strategy and have a response for it now? Because we didn't see a train the Shaman strategy on Blade's Edge earlier on in this series, and it could play out completely differently.
That's what I was thinking as well. So on Blade's Edge, it looked really hopeless going after the Warlock, right? But there was one moment where I think they did like a strangulate into like a cheap shot, gouge, blind or something like that. And they actually did get Cubsy's trinket. And you were talking about, oh yeah, they could grip Cubsy and go for Cubsy. And I do feel like if they went for that line of play, that could be how they win the game. And maybe they could even try to get the Hex onto Chan. So maybe they could kidney shot Chan. They do the same opener. They try to get the trinket of Cubsy like that. And then they can smoke bomb Chan, try to get his trinket, and his Hex him and go back on Cubsy or something like that. I don't know. Or maybe they can just go and run at Cubsy start to finish, just turn off Brain and just go full Zug. Either way, Voidja GG. This is the result of losing that swing match, right? Now they find themselves in game number 5. They have to lock in first. They have to play on the opponent's map pick. And they're going to need to basically do what old men were able to do on that game on Ruins that they actually did win. So it's going to be a tough one, but both of these teams, super, super experienced, just absolute gods at their classes. So it's going to be a good one.
Yeah, definitely. Very evenly matched. It's nice that in both regions, nobody really knows who's going to win. Like the expected teams are really having to struggle at the moment here in the upper side. It's entirely possible to see the old men sent down to the lower bracket. Void.gg could win this in 20 seconds if the old men are not careful, as the gates are about to be opening in 10 more seconds. A lot on the line. Teams are playing for a total prize of $50,000 this week, and they want to be riding into Championship Sunday in a top 4 position by winning this series in game number 5. And they're both going to be charging, it seems, to the same center point of the map, but they're just going to cross right away. We see Nick in stealth looking to try and get a sap early on, but Death and Decay, I think, should have grabbed combat, so no sap going to be found from either side to shear the Warlock, and I think they're just running in on Cubsy. They open with a Garrote, and it is trained the blue. Cubsy puts his back on the edge so he can't get backstabbed or ambushed. Cubsy has insane positioning right now with that ramp. Now he's going to jump down after the stun lock, reposition, and Chan is just free casting with Dark Soul right now. He's loaded up full dots onto the entire team. They're going to start melting, and Cubsy, he's getting away with this with Ghost Wolf. He's wrapping around the bottom pillar. Chan has topside with the port, but he gets kicked. That could put him behind, but Chan backs him up with a coil onto Nick. He steps back over for another Garrote silence. He drops the Spearling Tone. He's not messing around. He wants to use it high health before they anticipate a smoke bomb. He trinkets a kidney shot back into Ghost Wolf, trying to get back around the corner, but Nick is still all over him. Snuts peels him away with a cheap shot. Disarm on the Death Knight, trying to slow down the necrotic strikes. He has to line of sight that gargoyle. He's going to move to the next pillar. Joxy's moving in for a Wincher. Cubsy needs to deal with so many kicks. I think he faked the mind freeze there of Wealthy Man. He got a healing surge off. It's so important that he fakes every kick. He's trying to reposition to the top side, but he gets kidneyed, and he's out in the open. It's match point. What can they do for him? Joxy's just dispelling dots. It's into a full strangulate, and I think it's lights up for him. He's holding on somehow, some way, even despite the offensive Cloak of Shadows. They're dropping smoke bombs. They land the kick onto Cubsy. How is Cubsy not dead? How is he not dead right now? It's so much pressure. He's trying to sneak away at 20%. He manages to get behind the pillar. Joxy can't get there. He gets a couple of healing surges. He actually survived, and now Nick's in a kidney shot. He got left behind, and Shadow Bolt cracks his skull. Joxy drops down the Spirit Link. It's all or nothing. They have to get back on Cubsy, but he's in such a good position.
Yeah, how are they going to deal with this? They can't get back to him, and meanwhile, everybody on the side of VoidGG is rotting down. Beautiful interrupt coming out onto Joxy there by Cubs. He's even playing offensive in this position, but he still has no trinket. There's still damage available here on the side of VoidGG. One more kidney shot could close it out, but still, it's going to be Nick with no sheet death who's going to be the target of choice. There's the kidney shot from Snuts. He smells blood in the water. Full Howl of Terror onto Joxy, into the Blanket Silence. They get the disarm here onto Nick. Shanimal's loading up the game-winning Fear. Doesn't even need to. He gets the Death Coil instead, and the old men are advancing to Championship Sunday, already securing themselves a top 3 position in this tournament with that performance. Absolutely insane RLS gameplay, and I really feel like Cubsy, the little trick he did with the with the back against the air in the opener is the only reason actually why they won this game. Like, that opener should have been a lot worse.
Oh my god, he knew exactly what to do here. Great execution by the old men. Chan really got a pop-off game in terms of overall damage. They just couldn't get back onto Cubsy, and Snuts knew exactly what he needed to do. I also like his disarm. I think disarm on the Death Knight is way better than the Rogue. I think stopping Necrotic Strike is just way better than stopping anything the Rogue does, so that slowed down the opener a lot better for them than on the Runes of Lordaeron game as well. And they managed to get away with this, and I bet they're going to be hoping that somebody else knocks VoidGG out of the tournament, because this was a very scary matchup for them.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, I can't think of a more stressful situation to be in a game 5 like that. Imagine being Cubsy. The man has nerves of steel, and of course, The old men, they know what they're doing in these situations, and they're able to. I mean, that's the thing about Cubsy as well. Like, look at him. Like, Joxy's going for heals here, and look at Cubsy. He's been the target the whole game. He's playing as a melee cleave, and he's just like trying to interrupt Joxy, playing offensive, you know, trying to go for. I think he actually went for a hex towards the end, but he got overlapped with the howl. Yeah, there. You see that? Did Cubsy NS hex him there? What was that?
NS is on CD, so it's entirely possible.
Like,
and everyone's at full health, so I don't
that?
know why he would NS other than hex.
Who does that?
You're the target
just
all game,
survived.
getting trained, almost dead. I'm going to NS hex, guys.
And they win the game because of it. So, I mean, it works, right? It's just, there's a method to the madness. That's the thing. That's the thing.
I think sometimes NS hex is more value. I mean, Necrotic's going to absorb your healing anyways. If the hex wins you the game, it's like... I actually think NS hex in a lot of cases, maybe like a 50-50, NS hex is actually just better than using NS to heal.
Even defensively, it's not bad. Like if somebody trinkets and
he
they don't
didn't NS
have
it, he cast it.
a dispel.
He grounded it, I think. He cast it, and then does he NS it? No. He definitely... I just saw the hex right there, so he casted it.
Okay.
Put it on CD. Does he cast it again? Yeah, he cast it again.
Yeah,
He's off in the corner. And he's trying to cover the tremor. He's trying to get like a Howl Hex tremor cover so that Joxy has to trinket, then he gets blanketed on his trinket. So he couldn't get the tremor down in time. So Wealthy Red set a full fear. That was actually insane. Wait, watching that, the replay is insane. So he hexed him on the howl so he can tremor, and then Chant insta blankets him on his trinket, so he can't put tremor down for the DK. That was actually insane.
He can't put tremor down when he's
okay.
but still.
But he didn't do it. Why didn't he do it then?
They still got the trinket. I don't know. Why didn't do it?
So
That's a question you're gonna have to ask Joxy. Yeah. But he got coiled anyway after, so even if he got it, it wouldn't have mattered too much. Coil was definitely a bit overkill.
All right, well, very back and forth series, at least. I guess if you look at how that started, Void GG taking game number 1 really quickly, and then Old Men able to finish that out pretty convincingly towards the end, despite the fact that it went all the way to a game 5. Old Men going to take that victory. Void GG, that was the upper bracket, so they are knocked down, and they're going to be up against Dirty Dogs in that lower bracket, Sid.
All right, the Dirty Dogs down there, a very scary team. I mean, both these teams seem to have a lot of aggression. Hunter Rogue versus like the Death Knight Rogue. I can't say for certain who's going to take this. I feel like the Death Knight's a bit tankier than like a Shadow Priest with the plate armor, with IBF and things like that. And then the Rogue's obviously in stealth, so it's not a great target. I'm very curious to see actually how Thugly versus this plays, because they're both very similar comps, very similar strategies.
Yeah. I'm excited. That's going to be a little bit later on today, though. We do have a different series coming up here. It's going to be down in the upper bracket. Once again, it's Vindictive versus Team Liquid. If you don't know Vindictive, that's Ugly Bald Baby, then Pink and Mud. And it sounds like they've been practicing quite a bit as well, and they've been putting a lot of work in prep for this show, or this tournament, excuse me. It sounds like Supatis, it sounds like Team Liquid has been practicing quite a bit as well.
I mean, I think they're both putting in a tremendous amount of hours, although I thought the Paladin on this team was kind of like a pickup later on by Vindictive, so I think it's still a kind of a new player, at least for them, for the Holy Paladin on their role, but they thought they would have better synergy with him. And these are both really cleave-heavy teams. You know, in Sea-Doo, Mez, and Trill, I would say that like we would give them like the title of the cleave compositions, so can Vindictive take that away from them?
Yeah, certainly a lot of questions in the air that we're only going to be able to answer once we get to that series. But we're going to do, while we let these players get ready, we're going to do a spell guessing segment here. Y'all know the drill. We'll be guessing some spells here from Cataclysm.
Can it not be a mage one this time?
I know, right?
This is Living Bomb.
Detonate. This is Living Bomb.
Oh, this is Wild Mushroom. It's Wild Mushroom.
No, it's not Living Bomb. Living Bomb doesn't have a cooldown.
I think it's Wild Mushroom, maybe. No, Wild Mushroom doesn't have a cooldown either. No, it does, but there's charges, so I don't...
How long is the recharge cooldown?
That's what I'm trying to remember. Because I'm trying to remember if it's the explosion that has a cooldown.
Explosive Sheep is not it. That's a engineering thing. Explosive Trap...
It's like longer than 10 seconds. It's longer than 10. There's no... I think 100 traps are at least like 15 plus.
It's not Explosive... it could be Explosive Shot,
Could be Explosive Shot.
But I don't know the cooldown of Explosive Shot. I think it's either Explosive Trap or Explosive Shot.
I was literally just leveling my Hunter survival before the show and pressing Explosive Shot.
Oh, come on. You got to know this.
How do I not know this?
You got
Counting on
Did
you,
it feel like 10 seconds?
Like
Did it feel more?
This is definitely a debate question for me on Wild Mushroom versus Explosive Shot. It's one or the other.
You better get this right then.
It's one or the other. It's dealing detonates. See the fact that it says
I'm going with
detonate, I'm
explosive
going
shot,
mushroom.
lock it
I'm
in.
going mushroom because detonate's the first word. So it's like you explode it right away. It detonates right away. Whereas explosive
Oh yeah,
shot, it
that's
detonates
true. Actually,
later.
wait, it's
I think
it's like
walled mushroom
firing
detonate.
something that explodes, right? It's like I
So,
think the
hey,
first
you
word is
can't
like
change your
firing
answer,
or
bro. You
shoot.
locked your
No,
answer.
I lock it in.
You
No,
locked your
Oh
answer,
my
bro.
That was
goodness.
we didn't.
This is
I'm locking an
why-
explosive trap.
This is why we need buzzers or something. This is all right. You guys
I
are
keep the
right.
druid
Wild
card.
mushroom detonate.
Whatever, man. I helped you get there, okay? Like, you were
I
gonna
heard
say
it. I was
living
here.
bomb if it wasn't for me, dude. Like,
Oh, it's
All right,
A.
let's see if you all can get this
Whatever.
one. Let's
This
get
one's
this
A.
one.
Yeah,
A?
I lock in A.
You're
Yeah,
just
that's-
trusting me on this one.
No, why? I looked at the icons.
Oh,
man.
It wasn't A.
It's I definitely trusted
Wait,
you on that
it's
one.
definitely
Shit,
A.
man.
Wait, this is wrong. I'm logging in the game right now to look. I'm literally logging in the
Shit,
game
you
right
baited
now.
me. It's
This
D,
is wrong.
bro.
I'm
I
taking a
know it's D. I
screenshot of
don't
it in
even
the
play
game. I'm
Moonkin.
logging it. Yeah, retail
we'll
is
just-
D. I think retail is D, but Kata is A. I swear it's A. I'm
questioning
logging into the
production?
game. I'm logging into the game and looking at my Boomkin right now.
Oh my
I've
gosh,
got
we
I've got the
wait?
login game server. I'm waiting for it. I'm loading.
Sid,
it. I swear it's A.
Just
I'm
hand
taking a
over the
screenshot.
Moonkin card, bro.
I
Don't
swear
fight
it's
it.
A.
Just
I
hand it
swear
over,
it's
bro.
A.
Hand
I
it
swear
over, bro.
it's
We'll put it there in the closet next to my mage card. It's
swear
all
it's
good,
A.
bro.
I
You
swear
logged
it's
in
A.
yet?
Oh, it is A. It is A. I'm screenshotting
Oh.
this. I'm screenshotting this.
Ooh,
I'm on my druid right now.
production.
I'm
Send it
on my
into
druid right now.
production.
Production
We'll,
and
we'll
hot
confirm.
waters
Supa's
right now.
right, XD.
Supa's right,
okay,
XD.
okay.
See?
Hold
I
on, hold
told
on.
you it was A.
This
I should
means
get 3 points. for
production
that, by the
loses
way.
their Moonkin card.
I swear it's A.
Wait, can we trust any of these now? Like
I don't know. I feel like we've
now
been lied
we
to
know
this
there
whole
can
time.
there can be errors on the production side.
Actually,
Wait,
I don't
get
even
my
know if
name
A
card
is
back?
right. A is like a little bit too bright. If you
All
look
right.
at if you look at the actual tooltip, like A is kind of brighter than the actual one. Maybe it is. Maybe it's like the zoomed in tooltip of it, but it's for sure it's A. D is retail. I'm like 99% sure
I don't know
D
what
is
to
retail.
believe anymore.
C is nothing.
always
and
right,
then D is
trust
a
us.
recolor. I put it in.
You
I
know,
put it in the Discord. It's there.
We'll discuss during the break, and then when we come back, we'll confirm or deny. Is production right, or is Supatees right, or is nobody right? But that being said, we're gonna go to a break. When we come back, it's another upper bracket series. It's gonna be Vindictive versus Team Liquid coming up next. Welcome back, everyone. We are in the upper bracket still, and now it is Team Liquid facing off against Vindictive. Then both these teams have been preparing a tremendous amount from what it sounds like when we spoke to them before, leading up to this weekend.
Yeah, basically since Cataclysm started, like the reboot of Cataclysm, both these teams have just been kind of exclusively playing within themselves and just practicing basically day in, day out. So it's going to be really interesting to see which one of these two teams does come out ahead. Some unique cleave compositions for sure. Vindictive playing that Arms Warrior, Feral Druid, Holy Paladin. And then, of course, for Liquid, they're going to be running two different cleave setups. Mez likely always on the Death Knight. Sea-Doo playing both Shaman and Priest. And then Trill, he's been playing mostly Ret Paladin, but also a little bit of Rogue. So I'll be curious to see what they end up utilizing in this matchup. I think it will be Trill on the Paladin, but yeah, both these teams are fully prepared, like you mentioned.
All right, well, we're going to find out in just a bit. Gates will be opening shortly here. Game number 1 in this best of 5 upper bracket match. It's Vindictive versus Team Liquid.
Oh, no.
And here are those comps as well.
I feel like a Priest into Kitty. I don't know. I mean, he's got Ret, I guess, but I feel like being a Priest into this comp can be really tough to survive in.
Yeah, I mean, it'll be interesting to see. At least Trill will be able to back him up with Blessing and Protection. He's going to have the Chains of Ice. Looks like they are going to be starting here onto Mez early on. I think this is going to be a very explosive game. Throw down on Trill immediately as Sea-Doo is going to drop that power barrier. Mud getting cleaved down. Mez at the same time taking quite a bit of pressure. It's just sparks flying.
Oh my God.
I think he's just going to be using that Divine Shield immediately to keep his team nice and aggressive in the match. The Shattering Throw comes in. Now it could be Mez on the back foot, but Sid, this game is so wild already.
I mean, Trill is still just dying at the moment. He's CC'd for some time here. He's just walking towards the Paladin. He wants to get crowd control. There's the Hammer of Justice. And he's already used Bubble. I think first GCD. He's already trinketed. Mud could be in trouble. He pops the shield wall. They bash the Priest. They get a Fear. They force Trill's trinket. But Mez has Lichborn. He's got a lot of healing with those Death Coils here. And Mud's in trouble. Double Fear comes up from Sea-Doo. Shield wall is about to end. He's dying through Enraged Regen. And then he's getting absolutely destroyed. Liquid take it without even using Pain Suppression in game 1. Or Blessing and Protection.
Yeah, they got a lot of cooldowns still available. They're definitely looking good so far. I mean, Liquid, they're so good at these different cleave compositions, getting a lot of pressure on Mud in this game. And unfortunately, it just seemed like Pink Teddy had such a difficult time actually keeping his team stable. Looked good at the beginning when he had his Avenging Wrath and, of course, the Divine Shield up, immune to crowd control. But as soon as those Elts were gone, it was just a lot of CC Liquid had available. I mean, you think about how much crowd control does a Death Knight and a Ret Paladin have that you can just kind of instantly throw on the healer. Repentance comes in. I think Teddy immediately forced to use his trinket on that. Already used the Divine Shield. This is where Trill's in a little bit of trouble, but he just kites away. He's able to just throw in some heals. The full Hammer of Justice lands, and this is where the Gargoyle drops down for Mez. Kind of using that a little bit later on in the match, but it just becomes overwhelming damage.
And the necrotic. He just gets so much necrotic at the end of the game too. Like his Enrage regen isn't healing. He has so much necrotic from Mez, his Enrage regen is literally doing nothing. This entire time it's ticking. It doesn't even remove the necrotic before he dies. Mez just got way too much uptime with necrotic right there. There's no chance.
What even happened there? Like, Liquid just plays these comps so well. So it's like, Pink Teddy, I'm pretty sure he's getting gripped into fears. So let's just look this again, okay? Drill moves over. He gets a Hammer of Justice on Pink Teddy. So at this point, he already has no breaks. So now is when Mez summons the Gargoyle, right? So Gargoyle is in. Then he goes in for the Strang. And I'm pretty sure out of the Strang, he grips him in so Sea-Doo can fear him. Yeah, so grip into fear. That's the kind of coordination. I mean, Mud, you got no shot. Like you said, necrotic is ticking. Gargoyle is out. Pink Teddy has no defensive cooldowns. I mean, that is just a really rough spot to be in. And Liquid just showing what a well-oiled machine they really are as this composition. And it's funny too because like Mez is a part of like that original Vanguards cleave. It was Soda, Vanguards, and Mez. I remember competing at the 2010 regionals. I'm pretty sure 2012 regionals. Yeah, 2012 regionals. I played this composition, and Mez, I guess he remembered the strats because they're still looking really good.
I feel like this is another. You see the disarm on the Rep Pally, but I swear you need to disarm the Death Knight on an Empowered Rune Weapon because that's when he's just going to necrotic like 30 times in a row. So like the disarm's on the Ret right here, and I mean it's on wings, and he's not really able to get a lot of damage out, but he can still use some abilities while he's disarmed. Whereas it's right here. As soon as he pops Empowered Rune Weapon Gargoyle, it's just like necrotic, and like that seems way scarier than almost anything else in the game. If you can limit the amount of necrotic strikes that are coming out, as opposed to trying to stop damage. And we saw it in the last game with the RLS as well, when the disarm went onto the Death Knight instead of the Rogue.
Yep. There it is, a 1 minute game between these two cleave compositions. Do we think there's any maps that could be better? I'm not really sure.
unless there's a map where they can actually go the priest, but he's got freedom. Like it makes it,
not only does he have freedom, okay, so it's like there is a world where priests are afraid of warrior feral, right? But are you really that afraid when you have freedom? Like, you have freedom, and Mez is spamming Chains of Ice on everyone. He's gripping people away. Like, you get Blessing of Protection, a Blessing of Sacrifice. You're getting Word of Gloried by Trill. And, like, I don't know. It doesn't seem that bad for Sea-Doo in this match. Like, he has so much defense. Like, a lot of the time when I'm watching Sea-Doo stream, and he's playing anything other than with Mez and Trill, he's always like, man, I miss my Ret Paladin. You know, like, if he ever just gets trained and died, oh, man, I miss my Ret Paladin. It happened in so many of our games we played.
I miss my double healer here. I miss my Word of Glories. Please give me some extra heals here to recover these situations, because Ret Paladin healing is crazy. Being able to use Lay on Hands as well in the arena, and just having those immediate top-ups on these bursty moments, it enables you so much more longevity as the priest, and a lot more opportunities to keep the game going. So Dalaran Sewers is going to be the map pick, and I don't know how much I like this with how stacked up you're going to be. The boxes for the Priest of Freedom could be really bad. I'm not sure if I like this 100%, or something like Runes would have been better for them overall, but it's locked in, so they got to go at this point, and I'm not imagining they're going to switch their comp on the side of Vindictive.
Yeah, I don't think so. I don't know. I kind of like, the more I see this matchup play out, I feel like Liquid they have such, I don't know. I was going to say they have such an edge here, but maybe we need to see it play out a few more times. But Liquid just looked really good in that last one. Like, the late Gargoyle, it just seems like they know exactly what they want to do in this match. And those grip and fears are just absolutely nasty. So Sea-Doo, he's just kind of unafraid in this game. Normally, as a priest, he'd be really scared of, Feral Druid and a Warrior on top of you. But I think when you're backed up in this specific matchup, and Mez is actually able to grip in Pink Teddy for those fears, I mean, it's just devastating how they can kind of chain out of that CC.
I just don't know how you win as Vindictive, because Mez is playing Dwarf Death Knight too, and that's just a hard reset. If you have full row of bleeds and everything else, Rend from the Warrior, that's all gone. That's a clean wipe, and then he can just Lichborn himself, heal to full. I don't even think they got his Stone Form. They didn't get Paint Sup, they didn't get Bop, and they didn't get Stone Form. It's like, if the Death Knight's the kill target, they didn't get any real major CD from their team. And then they kind of swapped to Trill, but I don't think they even got his bubble. So in terms of offense, it really felt like Vindictive just didn't have any. They were doing the Cyclone strat on the Priest, calling the Priest, trying to kill the Death Knight, and they're just getting no damage, no pressure. I kind of think, even though the Priest gets freedom, that you have to just freedom the Warrior too, or Bladestorm and freedom the Feral and actually go after the Priest. I just feel like there's too many CDs to get through if you're going to go Death Knight.
All right, let's see. Last game ended about 1 minute after the gates had opened, so let's see if this is going to be another quick one, or if Vindictive can somehow stabilize. A thing that's going to be interesting for me is just Pink Teddy. What is Pink Teddy going to do? How is he going to avoid getting grip feared? You basically have two outs as a Paladin, your Trinket and your Divine Shield. Once those are gone, you are in a really, really rough spot. So I don't know if he's going to have to like pre-sacrifice the Repentances that are coming in, something like that. But Liquid definitely has nasty CC chains, and that's what I need to be looking out for in this match on Pink Teddy.
Freedom on the mount, immediately opening on the Ret Paladin as Mud charges forward, and it looks like he's making a swap. No, he's just going to go for a throwdown onto Sea-Doo, get some crowd control. They got way more pressure so far in game number 2 as Trill dips low, but he's got his Divine Protection. I think he's going to be able to tank this Cyclone up. Maybe not. Divine Shield, Shattering Throw. He line of sights onto the bottom and avoids the Shattering Throw there, protecting his Divine Shield. Buying time for Sea-Doo to get an Ore Mastery Penance, but he's still at half health. They're getting way more damage out in game number 2. They forced Icebound Fortitude from Mez. Sea-Doo's really struggling. Pink is playing far away. He gets a Hammer of Justice. He's max range the Death Grip, but he gets caught, gripped into a triple fear from Sea-Doo, forcing the Feral Druid's Trinket. Now Mud is shield walled, but he's got to be careful of the necrotic strikes. Gargoyle is out, so he's likely stacking a lot of them. That in-range regen may not do a lot, but Pink Teddy's in a better position. He survives the setup that they died to in game 1, and they're way further ahead than they were before.
Yeah, looking a lot better. Full Cyclone here onto Sea-Doo. Where's the damage to follow it up? Disarm on Mez, exactly what you wanted. They're going after Ugly Bald Baby for the time being. Now swapping over into Mud. Full Strangulate on Pink Teddy. Grip into a Fear. Is he going to get feared? He does. Oh no, that's it. The Fears are just so... Oh, that's tough. I mean, those Fears are just absolutely nasty by Liquid. I mean, normally that doesn't happen, right? Like, normally as a Paladin, you can just play so far away. Difficult for the Priest to actually set up and fear, but these grips from Mez are just completely changing the positioning of the match and allowing Liquid to get these incredible crowd control chains.
All right. What was the strat? I was like going fishing. I think it was in Miss Pandaria. You grip someone into a Ring of Frost, like the go fishing strategy.
Nez and I did that.
Grip into fear, grip into Ring of Frost. Mez was the original fisherman. Nat Pagel. Who's Nat Pagel? He's not the OG fisherman. Mez is the first fisherman here in PvP with these death grips, and it's absolutely setting up the team for success. I'd say it was a better game overall for Vindictive, but there's still a lot of cooldowns they had to get there. I think it was like another BOP at least on their side. They got paints up this game, which definitely was a bit better. This barrier got a ton of value, but they actually, they get feared out of it by mud. They bash the priest, the cyclone, but they pre-paints up the cyclone. That was really nicely done from Sea-Doo here, so that Trill can stay offensive and not worry about having to survive right now. And you can just stay on target, keep doing damage. Kiting with freedom a little bit here. Gets put into a main, but the strangulates on cast, man. Mez is just so nasty. He actually had Dark Sim at one point at the end here. I was wondering what he was trying to steal. Was it a cyclone maybe? I don't know which target it's on. It's obviously not going to be on the warrior, but he was trying to steal something at the end. Like, imagine if Mez steals a bubble. Like, he knows that Pink's using bubble on the first CC. He could just steal a bubble if he wants to and use that as an extra trinket.
What did he divine shield? I'm trying to, so he gets just full wrap.
Yeah, he bubbles the first CC. I swear Pink has bubbled the first CC every game. So I actually think Mez could Dark Sim the bubble. I don't like, maybe it doesn't really matter if he does it, but he could. I think he could do it.
That's so tough. And maybe he needs to just get Sacrifice out sooner. Like,
it's getting purged, isn't it?
Yeah, probably. But if he can do it, I guess at the same time Trill moves in for the instant repentance, then at least that would break. But it's just one of those things, probably easier said than done against a team like this. But yeah, it's kind of a back and forth, chaotic start. But eventually, Pink Teddy he's got no cooldowns, he's got no breaks, he's just in instant crowd control, and there's really not much anyone can do. Mud was trying to like pre-kite that setup too, but it's just not enough. Still just going down. So another really, really quick game number 2 here. And it is looking good for Liquid so far, because it's exactly kind of what you said, Vindictive. I feel like they played this one really aggressive. Like, they went after Trill, they got the Cyclones on Sea-Doo, they get the Divine Shield in the opener, and
maybe if they get
still
the
ended up not being enough.
Like, maybe the map wasn't good. If this is Runes of Lordaeron, Trill can't line of sight there. You get the Shatter.
Yeah.
I feel like the map wasn't good. I think you need runes. It's more distance also for max range. You have to worry about the waterfall pulling you closer. There's no pillar for Sea-Doo, really. I definitely think Runes of Lordaeron needs to be the map that they go to for being able to max range.
Strangulate on the cast. Such a long time. Here's the grip, fear once again. Just a lethal combo by Liquid, and they're looking good. These are kind of my unofficial predictions too for who is going to meet in the upper. Who's going to be old men versus Liquid. So that'll be kind of like a showdown of a lot of like the kind of veteran players that were playing Cataclysm at the time. So that'll be really, really interesting to see.
Yeah, the OGs going head-to-head once again here. Mez versus Snuts, a legendary battle since the dawn of time of Arena, basically. And they're still going at it here. They're going back to Nagrand. I think Nagrand is okay, too. It's just a matter of they need max distance for the Paladin. I think Dalaran is too small. There's no way you're ever going to be able to max range like a grip at any point on Dalaran. So I don't really like that map pick. They got a lot more pressure, though. And I think if they get the Shatter on the first bubble, they're going to force more CDs. They might even get paints up in the same go, and then they don't have it later. And that's what it's all about, is trying to force more CDs from the initial Berserk from the Feral Druid than what they're getting.
All right. Game number 3, Nagrand Arena. What is Vindictive going to do? It seems tough. I don't know. They're definitely on a timer. I think Pink Teddy's going to have to be an absolute hero. The only way I see them having enough time to actually win this game is if he does manage to trade out the Sacrifice right before the Repentance and kind of have that extra free crowd control break. Because I kind of feel like if Liquid is just getting all their crowd control, it's inevitable that Vindictive is going to lose unless, Trill doesn't use his Divine Shield or something like that. It's definitely going to be a really, really tough matchup, but this is not an elimination series. However, going down to the lower bracket is not the place to be. This is a very competitive tournament. There's a lot of sharks in the water in that lower bracket, so Vindictive obviously going to be looking to battle it back here in game number 3.
I think they fight the Fire Mage. I think they fight Mageddon, and they just dismantled the Melee Cleave earlier on, so that could be really hard for them as the Kitty Cleave moving down there. So if they can somehow reverse sweep this, but Liquid looks so clean. Their offense, their CC, their setups, their defense really solid. They're going to start the fight on Trill once again. They get a double pounce. Interesting start with a throwdown onto the healer. They force paint suppression right off the rip. They don't want Trill to have to use bubble at the start of the game, but he might have to use it through paint suppression. He gets a big heal here with that Word of Glory during the Avenging Wrath. still got divine protection. They drop the barrier. It's just about keeping Trill on the offensive, but he's just dead. He just gets clocked. They tried to make it through without using bubble first. They use everything else, and it's not enough. And they managed to finish him here in game number 3.
Did I curse him? I mean, I said the only way they don't win is if Trill just doesn't use divine shield. And that's kind of exactly what happened. I actually cursed him. I mean, Vindictive's gonna be happy with that one. Able to get kind of a free win here in this game number 3, putting out immense pressure and catching Liquid off guard. We'll see the replay once again. I mean, did you anticipate that the games are going to be this fast this weekend? Like some of these matchups. Yeah, some of them, but I feel like a lot of the games are going quick.
Is dead through paints up and wall. This is paints up and ret pally wall. So it's like double stack damage reduction. And then it's barrier. He like immediately, I'm pretty sure almost immediately out of the clone presses barrier. Maybe not right away. He waits for paints up maybe to end and then drops. There, look, barrier right away. So he died through double wall, barrier. That's why he doesn't bubble. Does he walk out of it? Oh no.
Yeah.
Oh my god, he got hit really hard too for that one global he walked out of it.
I feel like I almost prefer, I mean, this might sound weird, but I feel like I almost prefer if it's warrior cooldowns and feral cooldowns. You think it's a better trade to just bubble? Like, just use your divine shield, then you hold on to pain suppression, hold on to barrier, hold on to your divine protection.
Right? You just use pet stun to stop the shatter, maybe. Or is his pet not empowered enough at that point to be able to pet stun?
Yeah, maybe he can't do it, but yeah, maybe the shatter's too scary.
They were afraid of shatter. That's the whole reason they tried to chain their CDs like that, but it doesn't look like it's enough. It doesn't look like it seems like bubble.
What's Trill's gear look like?
Maybe stay near a pillar so you can line at the opening stage of the game.
I agree with his Trill being right now.
I'd assume he'd wear a lot of Rezil. I mean, Mez is dwarf, so they can't go him as the feral. They're not going to priest because they want to chase him with freedom around the pillar. So like Trill must be wearing like pretty close to full Rezil.
Yeah, he is wearing a lot. He only has a few pieces.
Because they have to know that he's going to be the target here with how they've built their team and they built their setup at the moment. But even just that global of walking out the barrier, I mean, the damage reduction there might have given it enough time to react. But at that point, it's like you've used bubble, barrier, paints up, wall. You probably still lose, honestly, even if you use bubble right there.
All right. Well, I'm curious to see how this game number 4 is going to go, because obviously Mud, Ugly Bald Baby, and Pink Teddy, they are willing to battle it back here in these games. I mean, this composition puts out a lot of damage, especially during the open stages of the match. And to be fair, Liquid, they basically used everything. I mean, sure, Trill didn't use his Divine Shield, but they killed him through basically every single defensive cooldown other than Divine Shield. So I wonder what Trill's going to do. Maybe he just needs to try to get freedom up and kite away a little bit more in the opener, like just try to create more space and just allow Mez to get the Chains of Ice onto the Feral Druid, onto the Warrior, and just try to avoid the fight. Can't really blame him, though. I mean, the first couple of games really looked good for them and them getting their crowd control out, but I wonder if Trill's going to play this one a little bit more cautiously now.
Well, he's got the bridge to jump off of, I think, right now, which is the main thing. And it's also easier to close in on the Paladin for grip fear, I think, with this. You've got nowhere to run, right? Like if you're playing on the edge of the bridge, you walk into a wall, and then you can't go anywhere else. So this seems like a really good map to line of sight the Shatter and to pin the Paladin closer for Death Grip. So I think this makes a lot of sense for Liquid here. And I don't think they're going to try the cooldown trades that they made this game. I think it's likely just going to be a Divine Shield right away, and then focus on line of sighting the Shatter if it ends up being a problem or not, or if they can maybe just get like a grip fear on that, get the Zerker Rage and some type of CC for the Warrior. I just don't know what it would be, unless they commit the Hammer of Justice to stop the Shatter. But this looks like there's opportunities for Vindictive here because they've got so much burst damage in the opener with that Feral Druid that if Trill isn't careful, he can go down through every defensive, or he can just die if they underreact. So they're not out of it yet here in the upper bracket with putting that point on the board. Blades of Jarena about to begin.
All right, here we go. Gates are open. Both teams moving to the top side of the map. Trill and Mez, Mud, and Ugly Bald Baby are going to be meeting here in the middle. But immediately going for a throwdown and does manage to find it. He gets gripped back, but just uses the heroic leap anyways, intervening back to Ugly Bald Baby to get the damage rolling onto Trill. But seems like Trill's able to tank through this initial damage a lot better here in the opening stages of the match. Here comes a Gargoyle from Mez, really ramping up the damage. Mud getting topped off. Divine Shield, Avenging Wrath here from Pink Teddy. He's starting to burn through those defensive cooldowns.
Oh my god, Mud's HP is just going up and down like a yo-yo at the moment, but Trill's still being pressured here. Sidu gets in position, but he gets silenced before he can fear. Gag order on the priest during the grip. That's the outplay mechanic that they needed, but the Bop gets mass dispelled. Mud's on the retreat. He's trying to line of sight, and I don't know if those necrotics are too high from Mez here. It is the Gargoyle, so he's likely looking to stack as many of them as he can onto Mud. Enrage regen is up, and it's finally starting to do some heals. Trill's going to jump off the bridge and abandon the push, and if they can get silences on the priest with the Gag order, with a pummel or a heroic throw to stop the fear, that's how they win the game. It's all in Mud's hands at the moment. They force the Bop onto Sidu. Here's a grip, another fear, and Pink doesn't have a trinket. How is Mud going to survive? It might just be a race. I think he's just racing here. He gets a triple fear, but it doesn't hit Sidu. He's still got the Bop. He intervenes away. He's trying to duck for cover. It's match point, and they're facing the lower bracket at 1%, as Mez will close this game out 3-1.
Yeah, really close game though. Let's see. I don't think they're going to be able to do it. Full cyclone on Sidu, but maybe another cyclone here on Sidu. Is Trill going to fall? He's trying to just kite. The heal's coming in. That Word of Glory is going to land, and that should be enough for Trill to survive and Liquid to secure this game number 4 win, 3-1 over Vindictive. But it seems like Vindictive, they have nothing to lose at this point, so they might as well try. Now, finally going to be tapping out here. Really, really close game, though. But that does mean Vindictive will be going down to the lower bracket, and Liquid will advance to play against Old Men, which I think is going to be a really exciting game.
I feel like the Gag order, like, even just using it on Trill when he was moving closer to the Paladin, by just pummeling him to silence him, to stop him from using Repentance for a second when he's moving closer. I actually think the Gag order is like the X factor for this matchup, whether you're able to get it on the Priest on a grip or get it on the Ret and buy a little bit more time for your Paladin to get out of range or something like that. Because it was so clutch at that one moment, so much so that I thought they were going to be able to win. But this Bop got insane value, right? If you're Mud, what do? You have fear, and you want to hit the priest with it, but he's bopped, so you kind of just have to hit the DPS, and Trill just instantly trinkets, Mez Lichborns, and basically the fear doesn't do anything as a result, and you got nothing. You're not surviving at this point with Mez and Trill right on top of you still in this position.
Whew. I mean, this composition is looking good. Like the Death Knight Ret Paladin. It's one thing I was talking to Zico a little bit about. Like, it seems like Ret Death Knight is fairly popular in North America, but none of the European teams are really utilizing this composition. I really am curious to see how far Liquid can take it. Is this one of the only comps that we didn't see in Europe yesterday?
We didn't see a lot of comps in Europe. Europe was very
We see Red at all,
heavy.
We didn't see RLS, I don't think. We didn't see any RLS.
We just saw RMP and Hunter DK for most of it, and then FLS. What I remember.
Jungle, yeah.
And Jungle, yeah.
Lots of ferals. Not as many ferals in NA so far.
NA is much more Lock Shaman, DK kind of oriented at the moment. A couple RMPs in the lower side. Speaking of RMPs, that's who I think Vindictive is going to be playing against. So are they ready to deal with that damage? Because Majored in with Power Infusion and Tricks of the Trade, like... He's getting 100 parses. He's getting legend parses in this tournament here, Classic Arena Tournament. So I would not feel too safe being a Cleave going against their team in the lower bracket.
No,
is that who they're
definitely
playing
not.
for sure?
I think so.
It's POGGITIES versus Vindictive. Vindictive is the last series of the day, and then we've got Void GG versus Dirty Dogs for the next one.
Ooh.
Yeah.
I'm excited for that one. Dirty Dogs went crazy in the first game of the day. I mean, They took down the move, and every game was 30 seconds. They won in the opener every single game.
I want to see if he's got any other dance moves. Like, we only saw the one. Does he have any other ones?
It's true, yeah. I mean, there's all kinds of racial dances to do next.
What did you do as your tournament prep? I learned every single World of Warcraft dance.
Not a bad investment. They're pretty good dances, honestly.
I tried to learn the Blood Elf one once. It was too hard. There are easier ones.
Never give up on your dreams, okay? You can do the Blood Elf dance. We believe.
Thank you. That means a lot coming from you. I'll let you guys know. But either way, we're gonna find out if there's any more dances in their pockets with these upcoming series. We've got 2 left. We are dropping down to that lower bracket, so we're going to be eliminating 2 more teams till we get to our final 4 for North America, and before we head into Championship Sunday tomorrow for both regions. So we've got Void GG versus Dirty Dogs coming up next, and then, like we said, that last series of the day is going to be Vindictive versus POGGITIES. So definitely be tuning in. The action doesn't stop just yet. We've got some more games to play. So before we head to a break and continue on in the rest of our matches for the day, we're going to be doing yet another series here of Spellguesser.
All right.
Hopefully production double checked this time.
I was not getting my Boomkin card revoked.
Nope.
Oh my goodness, what is this?
Fire or frost spell increases the damage done by your next fire or frost spell by X%. Like
Looks like a
30%.
Looks like a 20% to me.
20 or 30.
Use the damage by your next. Oh, goodness gracious.
Your next fireball spell? Your next.
It's just shorter.
Doesn't it could be
Your next
fireball?
blank something. Fireball.
I
I don't know what else it would.
I need the options. Glyph of
Frost.
Fireball. Glyph of Felguard. Glyph of Imp.
Felguard? Yeah, Felguard
Fel-
would be capitalized, wouldn't it?
Spell strike. I think any spell name is capitalized. Is it an
Fireball.
imp thing?
Well, I know it's not Fireball. Glyph of Fireball gives you 5% crit on Fireball. So
Okay,
that
so
one's
it
out.
Can't be. That's like a warlock thing.
Fellhunter
Okay.
Felguard. What is it? What is the Fellhunter
Is it
ability?
Fell Bite?
Fell Bite?
It might
I
be
think it's
Fell
Fell
Bite.
Bite.
Yeah, I think it's Fell Hunter.
Ooh.
Because Fell Bite does a lot of damage. It doesn't make sense to be imp.
Fellhunter.
And I think Felguard is bait because it's
Fell
got Fell
Bite.
in the name, but I guess Fellhunter also has the name Fell in the name, so I'm saying Fellhunter. That's gotta be Fell Bite.
Yeah, I think Fell Bite is it.
Oh, Zico's locking in imp off broadcast to try and scoop a point.
It could be Firebolt, maybe. Like your Imp's Firebolt.
Oh. Yeah, it could be Firebolt.
All right,
Wow.
whatever.
Too
We
late.
tried.
We tried.
Imp's Firebolt spell.
Of
20%.
Imp. Oh,
It's
goodness.
supposed to be what
Okay.
the imp is. I think it's B. Oh no, wait. Berserking is C. D is a recolor and it's inversed of B. And then A. Oh god. Is this supposed
I think
to be
it's
the
C just because it
fireball?
looks right. I
C
don't
looks
know.
like the troll racial though. I don't know if it's the same.
Yeah. I'm gonna go with
Okay.
I think it's
A.
B.
Going with A. It looks purple is like Warlock-ish. So that's like my whole logic.
I think it's B. D looks like it's from
It's true.
Spider-Man. That looks like the Green Goblin. I don't think it's D. I think it's B.
Zico thinks
If
it's B.
Zico agrees with me, I know it's right.
Oh,
Okay.
wow. I think. Okay.
Because
Zico's
like
just
the
two
thing
for
is like
two.
when you're not on camera,
You
could
guys
be
can't hear him
doing-
on the,
could be
in the chat, but he's
cheating.
in our ear saying what it is.
Yeah.
Do we trust Zico?
Yeah, what if he's
He's being an
cheating? What if
honest
he's like
man.
logged
Try-
into WoW right now? He's just got WoW.
Yeah, Zico's
Could be.
Googling. See, that's what we're all
Zico's
thinking.
Google. They were so fast with that too. Is that pre-made? Like, what-
That was
Okay.
very. All right. Zico's. Oh gosh. Okay, well, let us know in chat if you got that one correct. But we're gonna head to a break here. When we come back, we got a couple more Spellguster games, and then of course we've got some more matches, elimination rounds as well. When we come back, we're gonna head into Void GG versus Dirty Dogs coming up in just a bit. Hello, everybody, and welcome back. We are in another elimination series down here in the lower brackets. Two teams that we've seen already play today. Void GG, they got dropped by Old Men, and then Dirty Dogs were starting off the day in the lower bracket and beat the move already in a super fast series that started off the day. Ven, based on how they performed already today, any predictions for this upcoming match?
I feel well. My number one prediction is these are going to be really quick games. I think more than likely we're going to. Yeah, I think more than likely we're going to see Void GG actually play the Roguelock Shaman. Would be my guess. And then Dirty Dogs, if they play the Thug Cleave once again, I mean, we saw them against the move. Every game was less than 30 seconds. So I'm expecting these games to all be under 1 minute here. We'll have to wait and see though what Void GG decides to run. Seems like they're one of the only teams that is going to be kind of multi-comping here in this tournament.
Yeah, definitely a big moment here. Void GG, Dirty Dogs, both facing elimination. It is not a good time to be facing elimination. They want to make it to Championship Sunday for their share of that $50,000 prize pool. It's game number 1, Void GG versus Dirty Dogs.
And you're absolutely right here. Void GG going to be bringing in the RLS. And Lox in general is actually decent into Hunters. If you can survive that opening pressure, you have a really nice win condition because Hunters, they don't have a lot of self-sustain in Cataclysm, but they have deadly opener pressure. And they're going to go after Joxy, immediately getting his trinket here on the very first setup. Nyx didn't use his Shadow Dance though, and Wet as well didn't use his Shadow Dance. So this game could just be over before it even started. Full blind onto Joxy and big damage onto Wealthy Man. He gets disarmed, he trinkets the coin, goes for the sap, manages to get it. Big damage here onto Wealthy Man. He's stacking up with his healer so he can't get that AoE pressure. Wet in a full blind Thug moving in for the scatter shot. Can he get the follow-up trap? Wet in a sap, and they do get the follow-up trap there as well. Joxy's still not out of the woods yet. Wet still also in crowd control. Basically the Rogue and the Shaman both just being completely taken out of the game there, and I gotta say that was really well played by Nick.
Oh, nicely done so far. Let's see what Wealthy Man's going to be able to do. Joxy still with no trinket available. Full kidney shot on Clemens. Wet's in trouble. No Cloak of Shadows. And that could be the game. They defuse the opener. They have so much pressure on the Rogue. Wet is on the run, but a Hex lands in. A full fear. There is no shot that Wet survives this. Cheat death procs, and he will get dropped. Nicely done there by Void. Honestly, Joxy trinketing so early and then punishing him with a swap on Wealthy Man, a full blind sap. I was really surprised to see that Wealthy Man was able to actually survive that, but it just didn't seem like they had the damage to follow through.
Yeah, it was a bit unfortunate. So the Rogue got coiled. He got disarmed into a coil at the end of the blind, and if he wanted to get the sap, he had to trinket that, which exposed him to, well, what you see right now on your screen. You just see this Rogue is getting sapped, blinded, cheap shot, like he's not playing the game whatsoever during this kill moment. And I don't know if I actually like that setup onto Joxy because they got his trinket for free. They had Shadow Dance, they had readiness, they had everything. All you got to do in that situation is just get a scatter shot onto Nick, a silencing shot onto Wealthy Man, and go after Joxy. And Nick is going to have to trinket. If Nick doesn't trinket, like it's game over. And if he trinkets, you can blind him, and you're not in that situation where Wet was, where he's the one getting crowd controlled on his setup. So I will say I feel like this game was definitely a little bit of Nick just making it work for his team here, especially during this moment. And that's what it's all about against the Thug Cleave. Thug Cleave is very much. I feel like it's one of the scariest comps in the game. It's so tough to go up against a good Thug Cleave because in the opener, you know, with the double smoke bomb, the double readiness, or the double everything from the Hunter with the readiness, you know, double silence, double scatter, monkey blind, double traps, double chimera shots, just all that good stuff that they have in the opener. So if you survive that opener against Thug, usually you can win the game, but you got to really navigate that start pressure.
Yeah, I mean, I thought this was actually a really good moment, but Nick, he goes for the blind sap on Wet, like you said. The fact that he had no trinket really just shuts him down, and It's kind of at this moment when Joxy sneaks in this Hex, or just a few moments after this. Once this full Hex lands from Joxy, and it's followed up by a Fear, I mean, Clemens really has no outs. That's what we were talking about. This is just such a momentum-based game. You see the redirect kidney shot into a full Hex, and you have no shot at this point if you're Dirty Dogs. It's just overwhelming amounts of crowd control. And as long as Void GG can kind of diffuse the openers, especially, I mean, these defensive blinds, I saw it in one of the series, or the series between Void GG and Old Men. Snuts did the same thing. Like, he just goes for the defensive blind on Nick into the full sap. When you're playing that RLS, as long as you slow down the game enough where you can start rotating CC on the Priest, eventually you're just going to win. So those defensive blinds are really, really, really clutch. Followed up by a sap, and it just makes it really, really awkward for the enemy rogue like Wet to trinket at any point in the game offensively.
Yep, couldn't agree more with that. And that's the beauty of RLS, right? And that's the beauty of Cataclysm in general, because your play style, you can really make that work to a comp. So if you're a bit of a more defense-oriented rogue player, then RLS is a great comp for you, because a play style like that is fantastic for RLS. It's all about peeling them off your lock and surviving the setups and then kind of winning the late game. But with that said, they do have some big swaps as well, of course, with the kind of Garrot, Kidney Shot, Coil combos onto healers. So they can definitely also end the game early, but in matchups like this, against like melee cleaves, against Thug, against, very bursty comps, it's all about that defense. And on the flip side, for the Thug Cleaves rogue, it's all about the offense. You just want to send your whole spellbook as soon as possible and try to find an early kill window. So I do feel like RLS is probably more often than not going to come out ahead. So wondering what the Dirty Dogs are planning here in their dog house.
Yeah, just having the peels of that rogue, it kind of changed the dynamic of these matchups. Also, that Howl of Terror from Wealthy Man is just, it is so nasty. Once you stop having trinkets available, there's no Fear Ward, and Wealthy Man is just landing those Howls of Terror. Like, those fears setting is just an absolute nightmare to kind of deal with. And I think it's one of the reasons why RLS is such a good composition. Just kind of, it seems like in a lot of the cases, you kind of win the late game with the overall Affliction Warlock damage, enough Shadow Dances coming in from the Rogue. And of course, you have that crazy crowd control that we did see in that last game. So, Dirty Dogs, they're going to be going to Ruins of Lordaeron, a nice small map. Hopefully play this one nice and aggressive. I just don't know who they're going to go after. Maybe they do need to just commit on Joxy if he decides to trinket. Maybe make like a little swap on Wealthy Man, but don't overcommit your own trinket, and then go for like an all-in a little bit later on onto the Shaman or something like that. But I feel like they can't jump the gun. Like, if they don't have a good setup, I don't know if I like them trading out the cloak, trading out the trinket. I think they really have to find those perfect moments to all in.
Yep. I agree with that. They just need to make sure that they're not trinketing and getting caught up in those long CC chains. If not, then the Dirty Dogs can definitely bounce back here, and we'll see. Should I say the Dirty Dogs could catch up, could play catch. Sorry. Joxy looking to get sapped here, and there it is. Yeah, that's the one I was looking for. And Nick is going to get a nice little opener there, but Monkey Blind coming out onto Nick. Clemon sitting through CC. There's a scatter shot. There's a DR trap. A lot of damage here. Smoke bomb could get dropped. Wealthy Man porched in. Can I get the smoke bomb in time? There's the blind onto Joxy Baba. He trinkets out. So a really good opener here for the Dirty Dogs, but they need to try to find a kill window now. Joxy could die, and Wealthy Man could die in that next smoke bomb.
Blind sap on Wet once again, so he's going to be sitting through all of that crowd control, but I think they do need to go after Wealthy Man, potentially going after Joxy. He still has a Spearling Totem, he still has the Nature Swiftness. Here comes the bomb. Big damage here onto Wet. He could just die. This is a full kidney smoke bomb. He's in so much trouble. The scatter shot comes in from Thug. Wet is able to get the Cloak of Shadows, but look at the Hex on Clemens. They are on the run. This is danger time. Wet is able to get the re-stealth off here, and it looks like he will survive, but look at Nick. He's just waiting in stealth. Moving forward right now, getting the stuns. There comes the dismantle onto Wet, who just hasn't really been able to do much outside of the opener. What are they going to do? If Wet goes in, he's just going to get stunned. Here comes the gouge. Wealthy Man's loading everyone up with damage over time effects. This game is looking good for Void.
Yeah, and they get the kidney shot. Wealthman's going to get his
Howl.
unstable affliction. Full Howl of Terror on the Clemens. Wet, what are you going to do? He's got nothing. It looks like Nick is going to sap it as well. Does he get it? He gets a full sap. It is over. It is GG. Wet, nobody is going to save you from that one. Disgusting setup coming out from Void.gg, and now they are on match point as a result. I gotta say it, bro. Nick is showing a little bit of rogue diff right now in this matchup. It is what it is, but that's what it is.
You think it's a rogue? Like, I feel honestly, I don't know. This is looking really, really tough. I mean, what do you do if you're playing the thug rogue? You're just getting cheap shot. You're getting gouged. You ever I feel like you have to trinket at some point, but. Wet is just like, I feel like he's in such an awkward spot in this matchup where Nick is able to just fully control him.
It's just about the opener, right? Like in the opener, they did exactly what they need to do. They get the sap on Joxy, they open up on the Warlock, then Nick opens on Wet, and then he gets Monkey Blind, and he gets Scattershot, he gets Feared, like that's what they need to do. In general, I feel like Fear onto the Rogue is probably the best bet. When they're going for the CC chain onto the Shaman, just Fear the Rogue and try to get something out of that. But we got to watch this. Clemens gets fully feared. And look at Nick just sprinting across the map. Gets the Cloak of Shadows, gets the Vanish Sap. Wet tries to get him with the Fan of Knives, but he knows it's not going to happen. And Clemens has the Pain Cell, but can't use it in Fear. Can't use it in Sap. So
did he resap him too? Yeah,
probably. Wouldn't surprise me, actually.
Goes in for the resap. All right, but yeah, it's just as what we were talking about with the Howl of Terror as well. Like when you're in this position where nobody has a trinket, no trinket on Clemens, no trinket on Wet, Wealthy Man just running in on top of you, getting that Howl of Terror just sets you up to lose the game. Like the more I see this matchup, it feels like if Dirty Dogs doesn't win in the opener, they just automatically lose. So it's really, really tough. There's the Howl of Terror. Clemens is feared up once again. Nick, he realizes the situation, goes for the Vanish, the Cloak, the Sap, opens up on Wet, and I'm pretty sure he moves over and just resaps him with the dance. Yeah, comes over, resaps him. So that was as over as it can possibly be. Like, not much you can do out of that one.
Yeah, Nick is pretty good on the Rogue. We see him, bouncing around on basically every class in the game, but he is Nick the Rogue, right? That's his handle, so it's going to mean something, right? And you can see it here in this game. But I do agree, the matchup is hard, but it is all about cross-CCing Wet. I feel like every single time they're doing their go, Wet needs to be in something. They need to get a scatter on him, get a stun on him into a fear, get something on him so he can't peel those goes. And then you need to have a deadly go that forces Nick's trinket outside of blind. And I feel like that's a big win condition for them. Like, for example, if you think about that game number 1, they got Joxy's trinket. Then instead of, if they went on Joxy and, for example, scatter trap the Rogue, there's no way he doesn't trinket that. And then you have a full blind for him. And then you can tunnel Joxy, or you can full blind Joxy and kill the Rogue. You have a little bit more options there at least. So I really do think it's all about the cross CC on the Rogue, because Wet is just he's not getting any help from his team during those goes, and he's just getting completely shut down, just full on AFK during the goes.
Yeah, I mean, if you saw his damage at the end of that game, I'm pretty sure it was like comparable to Clemens. So definitely a tough spot to be in, especially when you have Nick, such a good rogue, just dismantling you, cheap shotting you, gouging you, blind sapping you. Like, it's definitely tough. But I do agree with you. Seems like if that is going to happen, it almost needs to be a priority to get crowd control on Nick and just kind of stop him from chaining those crowd controls together. So maybe that's the adaptation we need to see here from Dirty Dogs. More cross crowd control on Nick. Maybe Clemens just needs to get the fear, like you said, while they have crowd control on Joxy, so he can't tremor. Just anything to try to enable Wet a little bit more in this match.
Yeah. We'll see if they can do it. Match point here for Void.gg. Loser gets knocked out. Winner advances to Championship Sunday to fight for the prize money. Can they do it here? Clemens, Thug, and Wet going in for the opener here. Actually, Clemens getting combat there with the Master Spell onto Joxy. They get the sap as well. They're going to open up onto Joxy. And now they need to CC Nick here. But he's doing a very good job with his positioning, kind of ducking in and out. Look there. Finally, he gets scattered. But it's already too late. Joxy's gone. He's gone from Wet. But Wet connects with a half kidney. And now he gets kidneyed by Nick. And they're not going to get the trinket in the setup, but still the pressure is immense. You cannot disrespect these hunters. They do so much damage. The smoke bomb gets dropped there, anticipating maybe a spirit link, but Joxy, oh my god, the grip kick combo coming in there. Joxy actually in a lot of trouble as a result. That was insane by Clemens and Wet. That's the kind of enabling that they need. Full kidney connect, and all of a sudden, the Dirty Dogs coming in with some dirty gameplay. Clemens dropping out the leash there, pulling his dog to the prey and feasting.
Yeah, that grip kick was really, really important in that match, but it seems like this is one of those matchups where just train the blue. Just go after the shaman.
Yeah,
I mean, that's kind of what you got to do. Dirty Dogs are able to get that rush down, get the crowd control and the DPS. It seems to me that the game just becomes so much more simple when you just train the shaman and CC the DPS as any of these compositions, right? Like, instead of having to get like perfect crowd control on everybody and deny the tremor, no, just put every Garrote on the shaman, every kidney on the shaman, and just let your priest fear the DPS, let your hunter CC the DPS, make it awkward for him to dispel, and the game, it just gets a lot better, both offensively and defensively.
And this opener could have been a lot better too if Nick actually got CC'd first, but I don't know if you saw it in the start. I think they were trying to monkey blind Nick, and he was kind of going into the line of the cast and then using a cheap shot, going behind a pillar, going back, using a gouge, you know, like so he was able to get a lot of PLs off prior to this. But Hunters, man, Hunters, you know what the thing about Hunters is? Oh, I mean, you know it, but people at home. A Chimera Shot, so a Chimera Shot resets when you readiness. That's one thing, and that's their highest damage ability. The other thing about Chimera Shot is that it's nature damage. So this is a shaman, he has a shield, he's male, he has plenty of armor, but it doesn't matter. Chimera Shot is what chunks him. You're going to see it. He gets grip kicked, there's a backstab connecting, there's another one, and then here, boom, that's the Chimera Shot. And then he gets nature swiftness, he gets ambushed, and then they manage to get another Chimera, maybe a kill shot actually at the end there for Thug, but every time the shaman is getting chunked like that, most of the time it is a big Chimera Shot that connects, and then especially if you can get the tricks of the trade onto those as well, it's going to be a lot of just instant damage that hunters are able to do.
Woo! All right, Dirty Dogs getting crazy here in this final game, keeping themselves alive in the tournament, but keep in mind this is an elimination series. We are going to Blade's Edge. OGG going to be picking this map, and Dirty Dogs likely we're going to see the same compositions once again, and I think Dirty Dogs going to do the same thing. I think it's just a way simpler strategy, way more difficult for things to go. Like, I think when you try to get crazy and CC everything, like we were talking about, it becomes a lot more difficult to manage that. Like, the things can go wrong so quickly. Just go blue, go after the shaman, train them down, crowd control everyone else, and I think that seems like the most direct line to direct path to victory.
Yeah, when in doubt, kill Skull. You know, that used to be our strategy. I used to play with Heaton from Counter-Strike, and every single time we would go against shamans, he would play Asarog, and I would just tell him, kill Skull, and then he would just go and just do his own thing on the healer, while me and the priest like CC'd everything. It's a good strategy, you know, if you can play around it, you have a good comp that can play like that. That was Wrath RMP though, but still, Doug Cleave can definitely do kind of similar things. And that's what I wanted to see in that game number one. I feel like Dirty Dogs got a little bit baited. You know what I've noticed? Cleaves in general, when they use their brain too much, it's not good. It's not good. They're like, oh my god, he trinketed. We can do the 36 CC chain, blind, sap, trap, monkey blind, smoke bomb. We can do all these insane things. And then it's just like, no, just kill blue. Just kill blue. Just kill blue, micro CC the rest.
I had my own like kind of like learning experience with that in Kata. It's like you play too slow, the game just goes really, really bad. Like when I'm playing Frost Mage in 2, it's just Vayne, double snap, you know, double deep freeze, snap, double veins, double orb right away. Just and the game ends up just going so much better when you kind of stay ahead of tempo. It's such a momentum-based game. Tempo is everything in these games. So I think Dirty Dogs, they have to just kind of risk it, go crazy, try to take down Joxy. And for Void GG, they just need a little bit better peels. Dirty Dogs, with this strategy, they are on a very short timer. Like, as soon as Clemens, Thug, and Wet don't have trinkets, like, and that CC lands, they're going to lose the game. So it's kind of just do or die, go all in. I think on this particular map, going after the Warlock is not going to happen.
Yeah, that's the thing. I mean, it is a rough matchup from the looks of it. for the Dirty Dogs. So the fact that they have even been able to grab a point here has been impressive, but they can definitely kind of fix the strategy a little bit, make sure that they're all on the same page, committing to the right strategy, and we'll see if that can be enough to clutch out a win. Of course, this is Blade's Edge Arena, and if you've been watching today, you probably know that there's a lot of Warlocks that have picked this map, and the bridge in the middle of your screen right there is the reason why. If you jump down and then teleport back up, there is no, like on retail, there's like a, where those two pillars are in the middle, that's actually a ramp on retail, but in Cataclysm, there's no ramp there, so you're gonna have to go all the way around to get back up, and that just buys Warlocks a lot of time where they can, you know, survive by doing that. So we'll see here what the opener is going to look like. Clemens actually getting sapped this time around. Wet's going to open up onto Wealthy Man. Thug gets opened up here as well by Nick into a gouge. Wet gets coiled here, and they actually got Wealthy Man's trinket. I think they should kill Wealthy Man this game in a smoke bomb. I think they can easily do it if they can connect with like a big garrote kidney. We'll see what they decide to do here. Joxy Baba gets a full scatter trap. They're going after Wealthy Man still. Beautiful Howl of Terror there by Wealthy Man as well, slowing down the damage a little bit, and it looks like Wealthy Man is going to survive now, but the next go, I think he could still die.
Ooh, here we go. Interrupt on Joxy. They're still going after Wealthy Man. Wet is all over him at this point. Another fear that lands. It's going to be really nice if Clemens can push in, get a fear when Joxy's in crowd control, and just really deny Nick. It's a full blind on the Hunter, though. Unfortunately, there's just no damage because of that defensive blind coming in. Nicely done there by Nick. It's a full hex to follow that up, and Thug's going to be out of the game for a good 20 seconds during that setup.
Yeah, that's beautiful. That blind right there, this is what I'm talking about. Nick is just isolating, you know, the enemy team as soon as they try to go for that kill go. And now I don't see how Wealthy Man is actually going to die. That was the one line of play where I could see the Thug Cleave still pulling out ahead, but now they are falling behind Clemens, stuck in a full fear right now. And he's not going to trinket that one. He's still holding on to it. He might get stabbed at the end of it. Doesn't look like Nick is going to be able to find it. I actually did find a blind there, I do believe, or a sap. I don't know. He trinketed something off screen, and Thug now down to 50% HP, has the deterrence, and needs to make something happen. Shadow Step kick coming out there on to Joxy Baba. Wet gets feared. He trinkets a fear. They get the DR trap there onto Joxy, and Joxy actually eating the trap there during the go off of Nick, but Nick's still in a scatter shot. They're going all in onto Joxy Baba. He's got no trinket. Cheap shot's coming out. Kidney shot's coming out. Can they do it? The Spirit Link is available, and it will connect. Joxy Baba will survive, and now things are looking even worse here for the Dirty Dogs.
Yeah, Howl of Terror on Clemens. Can he recover? Full kidney shot lands on Thug and a full hex. Oh no, Clemens out of it, and that will be the game. Joxy survives the all-in, gets a Spirit Link, and things turn really quick. Boy, GG looking really good in this final game.
Beautiful, beautiful game here from Void.gg. They, again, for me, Nick gets the MVP this series for the simple fact that he knows exactly the enemy team's win conditions. He knows Wealthy Man has no trinket. He's going to get garroted. He's going to get kidney shot. He's going to get smoke bombed. We can't Spirit Link that. We can't out heal that. And he can't teleport out of there because his trinket is down. So that is the one moment where we are going to lose the game, and he's just saving his blind for that. He knows Wet still has his trinket, so this time he's just going to blind Thug instead. And then here, of course, this setup here onto Joxy Baba. Very, very close call there, but the coil, oh, the coil gets cloaked actually by Wet. I can't believe Joxy actually survives this. They just didn't have enough damage, sadly. If they managed to get that set up a little bit earlier when they had a bit more damage, they could have definitely won that. That was a sick cloak, though, from Wet. He definitely played that setup there about as good as you can. And then here, of course, Joxy coming in with the revenge hex onto the enemy healer and securing the game for his team with that.
Beautifully done. I think Dirty Dogs had a great performance in this final game. It's just a little bit not enough damage, just not enough to seal the deal and tie up the series. But yeah, it was this once he cloaked this right here, it's this gouge from Nick that I think buys him the time. Like that gouge right there is really, really important. I don't know if Wet was going to be able to follow that up with another garrote or another cheap shot, something like that. I'm not sure, but that gouge was definitely really important there by Nick. And at this point, there's really not too much you can do if you are Clemens. Maybe you could have deathed that, but yeah, or couldn't commit to the paint suppression, something. But I mean, at that point, the game is just, it's kind of lost at that point, I think. You've got no trinkets, no cooldowns. Really rough spot for Dirty Dogs. But honestly, I think they had a pretty good performance today. You know, their first game of the day was really, really good. Second one, I think this is a really tough matchup for them.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, they made it super far regardless. You know, there were a bunch of offline games we didn't see as well that this team was, winning to get to this point. So hopefully we'll see them for another Cataclysm or Classic tournament in the future. But that being said, they are unfortunately out, like Ven already covered. Void GG, they put themselves in a nice spot. They're going to be moving on to Championship Sunday. So that's it for them for today. But I feel like they kind of really found their stride towards the end there, Zico. And I feel like this is a team that could definitely be finding themselves coming out of the lower bracket.
Absolutely. They're going to be a shark down there. And the tournament, we're starting to shave off a lot of teams here. If you can take a look at the bracket right there. So we got Old Men versus Liquid up in that semi-final upper portion of the bracket. And then we got Void.gg waiting for their opponent in the lower bracket semis. And then we got Vindictive. Actually, wait, what? Who's playing here?
Do we still have that one to come? Vindictive and POGGITIES.
Yeah, it's the 3-0 threw me off there a little bit. That was like, what? But yeah, so
There we go.
there we go. All right, so
look at that.
the next matchup is going to be Vindictive versus POGGITIES, and then whoever wins that is going to be the last team in the top 4 for Championship Sunday, and they will be awarded with fighting Void.gg in their next match on Sunday.
Yeah, awarded. Yeah, well, I would have to ask them if that's the proper word to choose with that sentence. But I mean, regardless, I'm so excited for the rest of this bracket to shape out. Old Men versus Team Liquid. That's going to be a huge match that we're going to have to wait until Sunday to see. But we have got one more series left in the day. One more team to eliminate from the North American region before we have our top 4 for Sunday's game. So we're going to head to a break. Before we do that, of course, y'all should know the drill by now. We're going to be doing another spell guessing segment. Chat's been pretty good at this. We're a couple minutes ahead of them, but when I see it catching up and break, I'm like, okay, chat, I see you.
Job, chat.
Get it right at this. They're never wrong.
Whoa.
Mastery. This is Theralian's Mirror. Lock it in. Hard commit.
Wow.
Done.
Whoa.
Done.
Ben?
I mean,
This is the
he has
heroic
this
version.
trinket. He has this trinket, so I'm not...
Okay.
Don't copy my homework.
You tell me about this trinket every day. Every single day you're telling me I need to farm this trinket. Rallian's Mirror. There it is.
Yeah, lock it in. Theralian's Mirror. Oh, this trinket is so good when you have no idea. Yesterday I did a 46k frostbolt with this trinket. It's amazing.
Wow.
I think it actually
Wow.
was on chess. Yeah,
Have we seen it a lot this weekend?
Yes,
I don't know
every
how much you guys
Frostmage in Europe played it yesterday.
Okay.
We haven't. I don't think we've seen Frostmage today here in NA, but yesterday all the EU
Let me guess
Frostmages
the
were running
icon.
this.
You know the
All right.
icon. Let me guess it, because it's
right.
not fair.
Bite your tongue.
Oh, no. Oh, no.
Come on, you know
It's not
this.
D. It's not D. It's not C.
G.
It's either B. I think it's A. I'm going to go... Oh, it's B or A. 100%. Which one is it?
He looks
Don't
like a
tell me.
I'm not
All right,
Wait, am I allowed to talk?
Yeah, you can talk.
Okay.
But Zico
'cause
knows already, so it's like,
I am with you. I think it's
Okay.
A. I feel like B, C, and D look like ports, don't they?
Well, A does look like a mirror. That's the
Zico,
thing.
shut up.
Oh, he's trying to trick us. I swear it's B. I swear it's blue. I'm actually gonna go. Oh no. Right, I'm just gonna whatever. I'll just go with A. Fine, done.
Okay,
Gotta be
now,
right.
now let me show you guys how
Oh
this
my
is
God.
how this is done. Okay, so A
Okay.
is Mirror of Broken Glass, B is Theralian's Mirror, C
Oh
is a
my
Stormwind
God.
portal, and D is an Ironforge portal. Do I hear a mage card coming in from the production? Do I hear maybe an extra point, a gold star in the lair, maybe a little something?
Not fair.
Get you a trophy
I don't like how
or
you
something.
threw me off too. Like I
Number
thought we were
one
friends.
mage. Yeah,
like,
you were
yeah.
supposed to talk.
I try to give you the when you said A. Like,
No. What
What?
I heard was it's between A and B, and you said, "Well, A does look like a mirror." That's exactly what you said. So
That was
think that
after
you-
that.
I was going to say B. I said I knew it was blue. I was gonna go with B, and you ruined it. So
Did I mute my
Throw
mic?
that out there.
I killed my microphone.
All right. You guys done arguing?
I'm not happy.
Should I throw it to break? Are we ready? All right.
Ready.
Yes.
I'm going to throw it a break. Okay. We're going to head to a break. When we come back, it's going to be the last series of the day. It's Vindictive versus POGGITIES. We'll see you in a bit. Hello, everybody. We are on the last series of the day. And before we get into the series, Zico, I made you something. I worked really hard on it.
Oh. Mage card! Let's go! We're back! We're back!
Oh, I can make one
classic.
for... Yeah, I can make one for Ven, too. And Sid, you can have one.
What? Ven didn't get the last one, right? No, he needs to earn it.
Well, I'll keep it
He
until
needs
he
to
earns
earn
it
it,
back.
jeez.
It'll be in my possession, and yeah.
Yeah.
I don't
okay.
know where you are on your status of Boomkin card, Supties.
I corrected the production. I think I got 2 druid cards.
True, you do. Okay, I'll whip one up real quick.
Laminated druid card.
I'll put the order in. Yeah, we'll make it nice and shiny. All right. Well, we're going to get into this series. This is another elimination. It is the last one of the day here for North America. Of course, we're going to head into Championship Sunday tomorrow. We've got top 4 for both EU and NA competing against each other for the #1 spot in their respective regions. Here we go. Game is starting. Gates are opening very soon here. It's Vindictive versus POGGITIES for game #1.
All right, let's see it. We got wait, what? Okay, yeah. We got the main comps coming in here. I thought it was a Resto Druid for a second, but those are definitely extinct in Season 9. Ugly Ball Baby gonna be rocking the Feral Druid. Pink Teddy gonna be on the Holy Paladin, and Mud back on the Warrior. And of course, we got Majidin on the Fire Mage. Once again, we saw them dismantling this composition earlier with a Shaman. See if they can do it again. Can they get a Sap? Pink Teddy is already in combat. Mud is already in combat. Everybody is in combat. So this is a pretty good opener here for Vindictive. Double Dragon's Breath coming in onto Mud, and they shut down Nodge's opener there onto Pink Teddy, not even forcing out the Trinket. So this is a fantastic opener for Vindictive.
Let's see if they can keep it going. Blind Kidney Shot, triple CC, Mud isolated. Now the Garrote silence up as well. And we see a silence onto Payman. That gag order, I think, is super important for the Warrior. If Mud can get a couple of clutch silences, it could definitely be a good way to put themselves in the game. A throwdown, Payman's going to trinket that right away and try and get some distance here. Double DB, gouge into Cheap Shot, big setup, double Ring of Frost, crazy setup right now by POGGITIES, as we can see Mud forced to trinket out of this to assist Pink Teddy, but they got his wall regardless, and he's now down his Divine Shield, down his wall. Next setup's probably going to be a trinket or a bop if he's not on forbearance. Smoke Bomb comes down, big setup once again. Mud Heroic leaps out of that, and they're immediately swapping to the Priest. Uses Pain Suppression, now switching back to the Mage. Insane pressure onto 2 targets. Charge to reconnect. That's going to force Nice Block. Shattering Throw potentially from Mud. He's not even looking for it at the moment. Now he's looking for it, but he gets dismantled on it. Insane dismantle. Fear from Paymon. He grips Mage into the Paladin, possibly for a cancel Sheep. Double DB. I think they're going to set up and go onto the Paladin again, but they don't have CC on the Feral. He's going to come out of this. He might be able to Cyclone or land some. He lands an Interrupt on Fire right on the setup, and Pink Teddy is going to trinket another Kidney Shot and get back to the pillar.
Pyro. Oh, Majin has a Pyroblast. He's got Combustion. He could go in and try to Nova Pink Teddy and just send it. Or he could send it on the Warrior. The Warrior wasted his shield wall as well earlier. He needs to pick a target, though. It's fading. They're going on the Warrior, and it's not going to crit, so he's not going to get too much damage. He actually goes for the Combustion. The Warrior's in big trouble. Can they CC Pink Teddy? Can they get the Counterspell? They sneak in the Counterspell. Majin moving in for the Dragon's Breath. Manages to find it. Looking for the Sheep. If they find it, it's over. But they sacrifice the Sheep. He gets kicked by the Feral Druid. Double Fear coming in, though, from Paymon. They could go after Pink Teddy as well. I think it's a better choice than going after the Warrior, and that's exactly what they are going to do. Cheap Shot connects. Can they get another Cheap Shot? Can they get the Garrote? There's the Impact Stun. There's the DR Kidney, but the Cyclone comes out. But it's not going to be enough, I think. Pink Teddy stuck in the Dragon's Breath, rotting down. Can Majidin cast into this and get a little bit more damage? He's got no Ice Block. Pink Teddy counterspelled, and he will bite the dust. And POGGITIES, man, this Fire RMP, when they get rolling, it's beautiful to watch. These guys are doing some fantastic work here. This was a close game, though, for sure. Vindictive definitely had, the game plan figured out.
I was watching Naj's stream last night, and they were taking games off Old Men's RLS as well. They were looking really good in practice on this Fire RMP, so I'm not entirely surprised to see their success so far throughout today. Very clean game, good reactions, setting up crowd control, still staying in good offensive positions even despite that scary moment when we saw the Mage blocked at like 10%, and the Pain Suppression forced in the same attempt. But they still just kept their wheels going and managed to close out game #1. Now, I feel like this is a series where map picks can be super important. You absolutely do not want to pick up maps that have choke points against a Fire Mage. If you go to like Blades, you go to Dalaran, and there's small, narrow corridors to get channeled into, this type of situation where you get triple DB'd is going to happen way more often, and it's over if you get triple DB'd. It's just the best setup imaginable for the Fire MP. It's just a pause button, and you slowly tick down to all the dot ticks. And they can just set up on you from there. And Majidin is looking really good on the Fire Mage throughout today.
Yeah, definitely. He's been having a stellar day. But for me, I got to say, Payman is the MVP in that last game. He did such a good job. I really like when priests aren't being overly greedy with their cooldowns. As soon as he got hodged, he just trinketed it. Next time he got hodged, he just instantly paints up. And that allowed him to play offensive and get the fear that we saw a little bit earlier. I think is it actually around? No, this is after that. So they got the fear and gripped Majiden to Pink Teddy. They were able to get his trinket with that setup. They were able to get the combustion off and just get big damage rolling onto Mud, and it's kind of created this position here. So really nice plays there from Paymon, setting up his team and not being too greedy, making sure that he can just play from ahead. And I am curious to see what glyphs Majiden is running, because he did go out of mana, probably because he's spell stealing a lot. But I am wondering.
I think it's probably pre-spells in at the end of the game, right? Because Bop's the last cooldown.
Yeah,
it's probably like preemptively trying to get it. Because I mean, there was a couple times there I'm like, I'm surprised he didn't bop the kidney at the very end of the game, but he must have been anticipating that he would just get spell stall. I still think it might have been worth it.
Yeah, he's rocking the standard.
Like wait a second right here, and he gets kidney DR'd, I think. Like the sack breaks the DB, I believe, or maybe something else broke it at that instant.
Sack doesn't actually break DB.
Something else must have broken it there, but he gets kidney shot, and then he doesn't bop it. It's a DR'd kidney, and he can't bop right now because he's feared. It's intervene, and then I think after the intervene, he gets kidneyed on the impact. He can bop right here, and he doesn't do it. And I mean, it's probably just going to get spell stolen, and maybe that one global doesn't really change anything. And maybe he doesn't want to give it to the mage because the mage is also at like 20%.
Yeah, I think it's a rough decision to be in. Honestly, for the Kitty Cleave, I think that the reason why things got so rough for them was the Warrior. He tried to pre-wall a setup where he was just getting CC'd, and then he didn't have wall, and then it just put Pink Teddy really behind for the end of that game because he had to spam heal the Warrior and expose himself, and yeah, he ended up tanking some damage for that. But yeah, let's see here. Ruins of Lordaeron is going to be the next map here for POGGITIES and Vindictive. And Ruins is one of those maps that can definitely backfire in this matchup because they are playing with the Holy Paladin version. And with the Holy Paladin, there is a pretty clear-cut strat to victory that they can use on the side of the RMP. You can just tunnel the Holy Paladin, and if they can get a good setup for that, yeah, that's definitely one way where they can win instantly. But Majiden has to be a bit lucky and get the right crits too if they do that.
What do you think about like split DPS? Like Warrior goes Priest and Feral goes Mage, so you're not stacking as much.
I think that's what they did, and I don't think it's bad at all. I think it's better though to do that with a Shaman healer, but with a Paladin, it's just rough because you're on a timer. But you need to, for sure, shut down the mage so you can't just let him free cast. You're going to sap the Pala, disarm the Bladestorm, and open up on the Warrior here. Big opener potentially, Sid.
This is a bad start for Vindictive. They're just blasting Mud. They get his wall, they get his fear, they get his trinket, his Zerker Rage. Basically everything now within Rage Region and Rally as well. Now they're just switching to the Paladin, leaving him in a Frost Nova, leaving him in the dust. They drop the Smoke Bomb. Pink Teddy is trying to escape. Is he going to survive the combustion? He's caught in a Dragon's Breath. It's ticking away. He's slowly but surely going to rot down. And Payman's got that Aura Mastery ready to go for a Master Spell. If Pink Teddy trades it in this instance, he's trying to be greedy, but it's so much pressure.
Oh!
And Vindictive get clocked. POGGITIES move to match point as Majin will block. And should be able to recover. Penance is coming through. No Shatter attempt here from Mud. Trying to win a 2v3. Comes out of the Ice Block. This would be an insane 2v3 if they manage to do this. Pain Suppression at low health. Binding Heal's coming out, top himself and the Mage at the same time. Maybe. There's no way. Disarm on the Warrior now. Payman's at full health. Majin into a clone. I think Naj at this point with Dance coming up should be able to reverse it even if anything does happen. But this is such a devastating start here for Vindictive.
That was a really beautiful opener. So they sap the Paladin, they deal with the Warrior Feral trying to charge in and get really aggressive. They build up the Pyro stack on the Warrior. They get and I think Majin actually invest as well after that Warrior Goat and walked in stealth over to the Paladin, which was really sick. If that's what he did, I think I saw him do something like that. Yeah. So here, wait, I don't think we track invest. No, we do track invest. Is he in stealth? No, it's his NG gloves that give him this. Yeah, it looks like he's in stealth because of the NG gloves right now. But yeah, so he gets a pyro here on from Mud, and then he shoots the pyro onto Pink Teddy, and then he sends a combustion. It doesn't crit, but it's still a good amount of damage here. Drops the Ring of Frost. Unfortunately for him, and this is not Majiden missing the Ring of Frost, Dragon's Breath just has random pathing. Like if you place it perfectly on top of the pallet, you can just randomly decide to walk out of it. So it's a bit unfortunate because he could have. Yeah. It's true, Sid. I had a game on Blade's Edge where I DB'd a guy on a pillar. And then I went to his side of the pillar and started casting a sheep, and he perfectly walked to the other side of the pillar and just lined it. The Dragon's Breath has completely random pathing. But if he did get that, he wanted to get a Fire Blast on Pink Teddy and then get another Pyro there, pre-Master Spell the Bubble. And in general, this is what I was talking about in the pre-game. If you can try to turn this map into kind of a Paladin healer race. I mean, you see even on the ring right there, he did place it perfectly on top of him, but he just walked out in a straight line at the last 2 seconds of the DB. Luckily for them though, Nodge is there, able to finish the job, gets the Vanish, gets the ambush crit at the end.
All right, Vindictive, it's match point now. Been having a rough day so far, it seems. The Fire Mage is just making it even harder. The crowd control is just so endless. I love that clean swap off the Warriors. Like, we got what we needed. Time to switch targets. Frost Nova, MCS, big swap. Huge damage out onto this target. Just constantly min-maxing their positioning and their damage and their pressure, and just they're just unrelenting, really, in this matchup. They never give them any opportunities to breathe, just smothering them until they eventually suffocate out of the series now. We're going to Runes Lordaeron again for the side of Vindictive, and like as Mud, what can you do? Like, should you start Sword and board? Is there a way to make the opener a little bit less scary? How do you get the Paladin in combat to stop the Sap? Because I mean, he's literally running in Bladestorming like first global to try and get combat, and they're still getting the Sap.
Yeah, that's the problem, right? I don't think they can get instant combat really against this. I feel like from the Mage Pop, the most annoying thing is just getting Heroic Throne on the setup, right? So when he goes for the Dragon's Breath, or when they have a stun on somebody, if he can get a Heroic Throw off, that's the ideal position. The other thing is just the stacking as well, but I don't know how much they can do about it. If they play a melee cleave and Payman and Majiden stack, like, what are you going to do about that? You can't really, like, what are you going to do? Just hit nothing? Like, so it does seem for Vindictive that it is a little bit rough for them. But I personally, I believe in a full healer all in with micro CC on the mage. I really think that's their probably best way to win, but it's definitely not easy. I don't know about the split strat. I think full pressure on Priest, but just get some Cyclones on the mage. Like, the game becomes a lot easier for the kitty when the Feral gets uptime and he gets those instant Cyclone procs, and he actually gets to shut down some of these setups. Also about the opener, in the opener, I want to see Mud instantaneously Fear. I want to see him just trinket the first setup and then get a Fear on the Rogue and the Mage, because if one of them trinkets, the Feral just has a free clone target for the rest of the match. So in general, more disruption from Warriors. Like, Warriors have so much disruption. I want to see them try to utilize it a little bit, force out the trinkets, and then the Feral can hopefully help them recover.
That's match point for Vindictive. They gotta make it work here. There's no room for errors. They have to reverse sweep 3 in a row if they want to make it to Championship Sunday. Naj is immediately sprinting across the midfield looking for a Sap onto the Paladin. Is he going to find it this time? He does find a Sap. And now Mud Bladestorms right away, but he gets dismantled on it. Nice pounce on Naj, catching him on his opener, getting behind him on that evasion. Now swapping back to Mage, and they're doing the split strat, Warrior on Priest, Feral on Mage, but they stack up for a double DB into a double Fear, and they could swap to the Paladin. I think Pink Teddy's at the pillar. Naj actually went for a Shadow Dance, setting up big damage possibly. Smoke Bomb incoming. How many crits is he going to get here? He needs a lot of crits if he's going to force something. He gets the Bop at least, but he's just going to swap immediately with the remaining seconds of that Shadow Dance. Majin gets a double Frost Nova, looking to reposition away. Pyro comes through. Did it crit? They MCS'd him.
Yeah.
He's popping Combustion. I think it crit, but Majidin's dying at the same time, but he gets a double DB. No trinket, forcing the bubble. Where's the Master Spell? Payman instantly gets pummeled by Mud. Nice shutdown, but Majidin is still critically low. Payman into the Hammer of Justice. The most pressure we've seen from Vindictive so far in this series. Can they close it out? Can they kill him through the pain suppression? A pound stun comes up from Ugly Bald Baby, and Payman gets a desperate prayer, a triple Fear into a Poly. Payman gets the godly Fear. Manages to get the penance into the Flasher, but Majidin gets swapped to. He's going to Frost Nova, and he is trying to escape with that blazing speed, get a little bit of distance. He gets Gag Order silenced. Mud's back on the Priest. It's do or die. It's Zug or be Zugged for the side of Vindictive.
Yeah, they need to get a double DB and swap to the Paladin right now. Can they do it? Payman is in a throwdown right now, trying to get away from the melee cleave. He gets the aura mastery. There's a full kidney shot on the Pink Teddy. They need the damage here. Majin not able to find it to get a full cyclone, get a full fear, a full sheep, 3v1 isolated target. If Majin can get some crits here, it could be over. And they do. He gets the Pyroblast, and POGGITIES are taking this 3-0. But I completely agree with you there, Sid. Vindictive, man. This was their game. This was their by far the best game that they had. They had so much pressure. Wait a second here. Can they do it? I don't know, man. Ugly bald baby. I don't think. Maybe Paymon is stuck in a stun. If the warrior connects, maybe. But
both
still,
have wall.
Can they
pressure
win
walls
though if they kill him? I don't know. He's nah. There's no way. The Feral.
There's no way now.
Bro.
There should be no way now.
I feel like there was
to a DB.
Yeah, this is a tough one to 2v3. Because even if you kill the priest, how are you going to beat Rogue Mage as Feral Warrior with no trinkets? that's a really rough one for sure.
You gotta pray. You gotta pray every once in a while. But it's not going to be enough here. Vindictive, they're going to get clean swept. POGGITIES are moving into Championship Sunday, and they face Void GG, which could be really exciting. RLS versus RMP. I feel like that is such a crazy matchup in Cataclysm. Like one of the most crazy matchups that you can get.
Yeah, absolutely. This is very, very back and forth, a lot of pressure. I mean, even you see here on this replay how many everybody's just dying. But it was really nice that here they won the triple fear of Payman again. Like this man did such a good fear here, and then they get the double Dragon's Breath. And that fear bought them times to get the diminishing return off. Nice counterspell there as well to make sure that the Dragon's Breath doesn't get dispelled. Majin gets the double Cone of Cold. They get the fear. He gets the sheep. And then now you have that perfect situation where Pink Teddy doesn't have any outs. And he's stuck in stun lock. And then a little bit lucky for Majin to get a Pyroblast in that instance, but the setup was very clean, and they're able to grab the win here and advance to Championship Sunday, playing only the Fire RMP. Very nice.
Do you think they're going to have to switch comps at all? Can they even switch comps?
Just Frost.
I think
right?
I feel like against Hunter is when you're really gonna struggle with the Fire Mage. I think that it's just
there aren't
rough.
any Hunters though.
When you have the Roar of Sacrifice, like Rogue Mage damage is 0 especially for Fire, because you don't have any crits during the goes, and also Hunters do tremendous amount of damage to Fire Mages. So it's a bit rough, but I don't think there's only Cleaves left, right?
Yeah, there aren't any Hunters. I think with the knockout from Clemens,
there's RLS. I think RLS could be hard for them. The Cleaves could also be hard, but we've seen that they can deal with them. So I think POGGITIES, they have a good shot on this for sure.
All right. Well, here's a look at our bracket right now, where we ended off the day. Only 4 teams remain. We started off with 8 in the beginning of the day. We've got Void GG versus POGGITIES down there in that lower bracket. Winner, moving on to that lower semifinals. And then we've got the upper semifinals, Old Men versus Team Liquid. We've already covered it. That's going to be an insane matchup. We've got some very familiar faces to AWC in there. Snuts, Cubsy, Chan, they're definitely old G's in the scene versus Team Liquid, Mez, Sidu, and Trill. So that's going to be a very intense game. Super excited for all of the matches in North America, as well as the EU matches. We're starting off the day in the European region, right there in the upper finals for the first matchup of the day, which is going to be No Tears, Just Dreams versus The Workshop. But just as like a little refresher, Supatees, like what were your favorite moments? What are your favorite teams? Who should we be looking out for in the EU region?
I feel like every single series was so unexpected. Like I even asked Channel on his stream after the European region, and he's like, none of the predictions or expectations I had for this region happened. It was just all it was like opposite for him. So really anything can happen here. I'm very much so interested if the Workshop can find a way to beat the Priest PHDK, because they beat the Paladin one, and it was 3-2, and it was really close. So the Priest one seems to be way more lethal for the Mage at least. But if they can beat it, then I don't see why they wouldn't be able to take the whole thing.
Yeah. I mean, they've just got that one series to get into the grand finals. Of course, that determines on who makes it out alive from that lower bracket. We've got Jamecleave and TY currently down there, and we'll see. We'll see how that pans out. But that is going to wrap everything up for the day. Thank you so much, everyone, for hanging out with us. And we've got a full day of games tomorrow, which will be crowning our champion for Cataclysm Classic in both Europe and NA. So thanks so much, everyone, for watching. We're going to head out. Same time, same place, twitch.tv/Warcraft, 10 a.m. Pacific and 7 p.m. CEST. Thank you so much. See you tomorrow.